Welcome back, everyone. The DMs slash world leaders, please go ahead and mute. Thank you very much as you do so. We return to the Sunday Shenanagins, session 9, the latest session, and thankfully, with some fresh faces coming into this. The There's been a bit of shuffling around in the background in between sessions. We've had some players shift to other campaigns, as we mentioned with Aldrin is now retiring from the Sunday group, and we've had a new player join us, which you'll get to meet here in a minute. Last time we left off, though, as the new player is going to totally need to know this, and is going to be very helpful for them as far as it goes. I hope, Ned, you remember a lot of this, though. Last time, though, we left off, you found yourselves sieging the city of Adventure's Beginning, going with the mercenary army that was led by Neff and his full band of samurai, in the hopes to take the city in a single night surprise attack. You lot decided to join on with the mission of taking out the barracks. With a little help from Ultimus and some very dangerous poison that managed to level a building and melt a few individuals to no one's seemingly fear, which really concerns me a little bit as a DM about your guys' long-term survivability. Just gonna put that out there. But as you leveled the building with this poison, with the help of Sen, you would manage to dig up a ton of loot, selling most of it off to Goose. Though the little bit that you would take with you, kind of gathering a wagon with it all kind of tossed on, you would retire instead of joining the other party in the attack on the castle. As the explosions and sounds of screaming and fighting would be heard from the distance, the party would find themselves instead retiring to the outer area of the city, back to the mercenary camps for the night. Kind of watching on as the siege continued and finished up. The distant army being fully wrapped up as a massive battle had been completed, with the sounds of a kamikaze scream, if you will, as a ship would be plummeting into one large dragon on the center of the battlefield, about a few miles south of you all. During this time, Kesnanok would spend his time healing the mercenaries that had been injured, working with those who were currently in the battles, either coming from the major battlefield of the two armies clashing or from the siege, pocketing a couple thousand gold pieces. While doing so, he would eventually find rejoining you, Ned and Dom, in the tent that you lot had set aside, and retiring and passing out almost completely as soon as they arrived. As Ned, you kind of find yourself waking up in the early morning of the after the siege. Dom and Ned and Kez still kind of sleeping off to the side. You watch as Ultimus kind of comes walking over this Black Panther-like Rakshasa, kind of in their still in their rogue or their light leathers that are kind of torn up, their boots which they're kind of hanging over their shoulders, walking on their bare feet in the muddy or muddy path. As they bring over this very short individual, which would you like to kind of describe and introduce yourself?
Sure. Somewhat tall for a dwarf at the very least, standing like 5 foot even. Wearing a pretty heavy assortment of scale mail, plate, shield strung over my back. It's an odd weapon that maybe y'all haven't seen before. It's got a large like spearhead on one end and a rather hefty looking axe blade on the other. The figure himself is a snow dwarf with platinum blonde hair, a relatively well kept manicured beard, some bronze ornaments in the beard to help keep it neat and tidy, as well as in the temples of his hair to keep it from falling into his face. Um, there's an odd sort of glow over him as an individual, almost like catches of like ethereal light as he moves here and there. You catch glimpses of just something a little odd. It's um, like the little eye catches whenever you see bright light too for too long. Um, just stands there, looks around the tent, and kind of gives a half-hearted wave.
As you do so, Ultimus kind of looks back over to you, Ned, and goes, this is your new teammate. Neff mentioned that you were looking to hire on someone after losing Aldrin, and well, this is what I managed to scrounge up from the hire-ons. As Ultimus kind of looks at you and goes, this lot managed to take out the barracks in the city. They're not a fully professional group, but they are to be rewarded by Greg's Maratom himself, so they'll be a good fit for you going into the future with the goals you have in mind.
Ned will, like, look down and lean over and be like, well, where's the rest of them?
We don't all get tech so high.
Oh, you can hear me.
I am about 3 feet away from you.
I guess that explains all the weird looks walking through town. I'm Ned Grass and Trees. Stick my hand out.
Like do so and just like I guess grab like the tip of one of your fingers.
Yeah, basically. I will say, Ned is fully green. Looks like he's green skinned, like the Jolly Green Giant. As you look at him, wearing, if I remember correctly, you're still wearing your leather, but you have the
leather
the moss kind of covering it, right? Was the joke?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see, like, bits of the leather kind of sticking out underneath this, like, heavy thing of moss that he's kind of got wrapped around his body, covering himself. And a large quarterstaff kind of off to the side that has a little encryption, or a little bit of writing on it. And the word almost immediately catches your eye as you kind of catch it out of the side of your eye. Seems to read the anvil on it. I will also note, you do sense the presence of evil amongst, I believe, almost this entire tent.
Oh, what, the balls? Is it just like the residual magic, or is it like an actual specific presence?
As you kind of start to focus it a little bit more, it's pretty easy to tell. It seems to be coming from the sleeping individual off to the side that's not wearing heavy armor. The larger of the two looks to be very physically muscled, not wearing really too much in clothing, and seems to have their hands wrapped up, if I remember correctly. Oh no, they do wear a gi. Never mind, I forgot about that. As you look over, Ned, you do notice this individual kind of is looking straight over to Dom.
Well, that there's Dom. Normally a little more talkative, but, you know, it was a tough night.
I just gotta like nod slowly. I like gaze like swapping back to Ned. You might clock like the very center of Eider's eyes, like flash like a very specific like cerulean. It was like the there's no dark part of the inside of the eye for just like a split second, and then like fades into like normal. It says, interesting company. Where are you lot from?
Well, kind of all over the place, but originally, most of us are at least partially fire giants. So,
Ned kind of, I imagine, looking over at,
but
especially
if you mean in a more
Kez.
personal way, my mom and my dad really liked each other's company, and they loved nature, and you know, later down the road, here I am.
Oh, thank you for making sure I knew that. Just kind of like nonplussed on how to fucking answer that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as you look, it doesn't take much of even a sense move to get that Ned doesn't have the same cultural experience as you, to put in a kind way. He is very more nature driven as an individual, is a good way to put it.
I just lean over to my kind rat folk guide and say, "I'm sorry, did I offend you at some point?"
She looks over at you and goes, No, but you might have offended Neff. This lot was the one that he didn't want to hire. Good luck to you. At least they didn't go over in a catapult. And she kind of turns and starts walking away.
I just kind of shrugged. It was like, oh, at least I landed all right. Just kind of like dust off my heel, like fucking blue sparks, like kind of come off of it.
As you kind of do, you see as Kez kind of slightly waking up, looks over at you, fluttering his eyes open a little bit, and kind of rubs his temple and grabbing a glass from the table in the center of the tent as he starts drinking and goes, you must be the one Neff talked about. Name's Keznanok.
Hello, Keznanok. I imagine you're about to fall asleep in about a second.
No, probably not. As you see him looks you up and down, he seems to be kind of almost appraising you for a moment, and then looks back over to Ned and goes, yeah, Neff said something about us getting a new hire after Uldren apparently was informed, so just so you know, as he kind of rubs his eyes again, trying to keep himself fully awake and kind of slightly yawning, I think we were told we were moving out at sunset, or sunrise, as he takes a second and goes, wait, is the sun already up? As he kind of looks out and seeing the storm clouds over high. So the mercenary camp already starting to pack up much of its equipment, and looking about, and kind of looks to you, Ned, and goes, I think we need to get ready and start heading out. We were summoned by, as he stretches, Greg's Maratam, something about an award ceremony.
What kind of awards?
Looks and again, let me make sure I'm pronouncing this right. Is it A tier?
I tier.
I tier. Okay, I tier. He looks over to I tier and goes, did Ultimus explain that we took down the armory as one of the main focuses of the siege?
In passing, she had some choice curse words alongside it, I think.
Yeah. Well, she went over with the cryptic cabal by catapult. It sounds like she had way more fun with that. There was a lot of screaming in that direction, but anyways, yeah. So we're being rewarded for our actions, apparently. Mine for healing, keeping up a couple of our officers, and keeping us alive. Apparently, kind of looks over to Dom, who's still snoring, and looks back to Ned and goes, you two for your attack on the barracks and managing to subdue it, although Nev gave me a huge earful after you guys went to bed about something about you guys abandoning him in the castle.
Neff was in the castle?
You know what? Never mind then. I'll take care of it, as he kind of just shakes his head. Alright, well, the tent's not ours anyway, so...
Weird place to hide.
He kind of looks so back at Ned and just kind of stares at him for a moment and goes...
Just looking off thinking at this point.
Well, new guy, you're with us. I don't know if you're gonna get rewarded, but be prepared. Apparently, there's been a summon of all of the world's leaders. I don't know how many are showing. I hope you have some nobleman's clothing or something that's as he looks to Ned, the moss-covered fire giant, and goes, something that's not that.
Well, I have my armor. That ought to be enough.
Alright. Ned, I think we should get you something that's a little less moss-covered, given the surroundings we're going into.
Or they could accept me for the man that I am.
Honestly, it might work.
Sure. Well, you know what? Why not? As he just kind of nods and kind of stands up. Nudging Dom, Dom kind of flutters awake and kind of nods, as they kind of catch up on everything. As you lot kind of start to pack up your gear, getting your backpacks together, one more time, A tier.
Yep.
Cool, got it. All right, A tier, what are you doing while you watch these three kind of packing up? Because assumedly you'd already have your pack already on you and most of your gear already ready to go. So.
Yeah, unless I'm the fastest unpacker on the planet.
I know, right? Yeah, just kind of throw everything in the tent and then re-put it all together.
Right. I think I pull out like a little idol, like carving that I've been working on, and just kind of like survey the other people and take like an eye around the rest of the camp, trying to clock if there's any, I think any other like specific like.
Not evil, but you do also note that there is a white owl with a monocle flying around Ned, trying to help him pack things up.
I forgot about your owl. Yes.
I do attempt to like pet the owl's chin.
As Ned kind of calls him down to his arm. If I remember, what was his name again?
Hootie.
Hootie, that's right. As Hootie kind of like
He had a
Russell
band with a blowfish.
Yeah. Wait, what? God damn it, no. And he kind of comes to a rest on Ned's onto Ned's finger. I imagine his like pinky finger kind of leaning down to let the owl kind of be at your level. As the thing kind of furls its feathers a little bit out, staring at you for a moment, but does not seem to be at all hesitant towards you.
Yeah. Yeah, like an affectionate rub under the chin.
As you do so, it seems to kind of look at you and almost this a sense of kindness to the eyes of the creature as it seems to stare at you for a moment. After a few seconds, though, as it seems to have enough, it pulls itself away and starts to flutter away as it flies around, grabbing a couple of items off the ground and throwing them into Ned's pack. Give me a second. As you kind of see this, the rest of the other two kind of finish packing up their stuff. Kesnanok kind of looking at the notebook he has and kind of looking at you for a moment and then kind of putting it away into his pack as he does so, and goes, "There's not much else around here, but keep an eye out while you're looking about. And then give me a spot check to see if you notice anything, because as you mentioned, you're going to be kind of looking around. A-tier?
Yep. Now then, fair warning. My spot checks are amazing. By that I mean they're awful.
Can't wait. I'm down with it.
Feels like I'm in a party full of wisdom characters, so just kind of, and I don't get it as a classical either. So it's a 12.
12, okay, bad. You only, as you kind of look about, kind of looking amongst the many mercenaries, you see they kind of split into a couple of groups in different camps. The samurai amongst them look to be mostly lycanthropes. Some of them that actually shift into more of what looks to appearance of a rakshasa, and then back into a more of a lycanthrope of some sort of magical beast. But most of them wearing what looks to be a samurai's set of plate, as well as wearing katanas on their belt, many of them carrying bows on their back. Nothing kind of comes off as kind of hitting your radar, though you do sense evil from many of them. It's nothing that seems to be... none of them seem to be focusing towards you, in a sense, if you will. Nothing kind of immediately goes, oh, this guy's locking eyes, getting ready to mean mug me, in a sense. As you kind of look about, yeah.
Well, then I specifically really am more interested in, say, divine evil.
Okay.
The foot pads, thugs like that, they kind of exist, but
as you kind of look about, one catches your attention when you're kind of searching about. You see what looks to be a very heavily chain-mailed, large humanoid-like figure. This looks to be similar to almost like a Goliath, although there's no sign of any flesh, as there everywhere there would be, there's just heavy, thick chainmail covering everything. Even their face seems to be covered over two large, what looks to be whip-like chains kind of wrapped over their shoulders and kind of around their arm. Seems to be about them. immediately screaming, not only is this creature evil, but as you sense the unnatural divine evil coming off of this creature, it kind of immediately clarifies as you also notice a small symbol on their neck that looks to be a gravestone.
Mm. I do have knowledge planes on that one.
You do. Go ahead and roll me that. Check something real quick.
24.
Okay. Give me a moment as I have to remember which campaign he popped up in. I want to...
Monday.
Was it Monday? Yeah, okay, I figured as much. Give me a second. Because I actually have a specific answer. Give me a... If I wrote my... God damn it. If I can find my notes. I promise. Where... There it is. I think. Was it Monday? Are you sure? Anyways, as you...
I thought so.
What? Sorry, what? And what'd you roll for it?
24.
24.
Yeah, 20.
You can tell that this individual seems to not immediately senses that they are not naturally of that body. Something seems off about them as you kind of look them up and down for a moment. Though that you recognize they're definitely not from this plane, it seems like there's something piloting the body. Rather, you cannot tell what the creature is due to the amount of coverings on it.
I poke I guess one of the nearby people, passersby, and ask, big fella with the chains, what company is he from?
You see,
It was in here.
huh?
It was Sunday. I found it.
Okay, you found it. As you kind of point or kind of budge Ned over towards Ned for a moment. Ned, you remember this guy just appearing out of nowhere the last time, as if he just kind of his presence appeared right behind you. It was almost creepily so.
I mean, I don't know much about him. His name is Sta. He kind of just popped up behind us.
I just kind of nod. I was like, no, I guess that makes sense.
He said it was short for stop, but he yelled it.
You suddenly recall the night before during the siege, right before it took all everything started, some insane person kept screaming at the top of their lungs, "Stop!" across the entirety of the camp, almost giving away the mercenary's position before the siege.
A+.
But as you got kind of stand around, that was it. Thank you. As you kind of stand around, you do notice none of the mercenary companies seem to be kind of going near him. The Minotaurs, the Kobolds, the Dragonkin, even the Lycanthropes seem to all kind of give him a pretty wide berth as he packs up his gear. Not really seeing any other group with him, he seems to kind of just grab his tent and starts walking towards to the west, following where a lot of the mercenaries are starting to kind of slowly start kind of filtering towards. All right.
So is that the way we're supposed to go?
As Kez kind of nods as he kind of finishes putting his pack on and kind of stands up, and as Dom kind of grabs the last of their stuff, a lot of you start heading out onto the road. It does take about a week, as in about 7 days. So we go from about the 4th of the Awakening, or the 4th of March. The heavy rain and downpour is pretty rough along the road, but with the 7 days on the road, talking amongst the mercenaries, finding out what's been going on, both of you roll me a gather information to see what you can learn. And if there is anything specific you want to learn, feel free to let me know.
Sure. I guess since we have the time for it, probably swap over one of my melts to help me out on this one.
Holy. I believe
Wow.
your party does
I
have
rolled
a cart
nat
with a
20
direwolf.
minus 1 for a 19.
Ooh, nice. On fire tonight.
18.
18. Between the two of you, as you're kind of with the being on the cart, as you kind of both sit up front, Kez and Dom kind of sitting in the back, now taking naps. As you two kind of get set up as a part of the rotation, you end up hearing a lot about the words of that Neff and his mercenary group is apparently not going to the festivities, as the rumors had been kind of coming up. Apparently, has already been awarded land and has been given a town to take over. You hear word about someone by the name of Zilpip having managed to single-handedly change the entirety of the focal point of the war from some of the soldiers passing by, though others stating that it wasn't Zilpip, that was some 12-headed Hydra creature on top of a ship that was screaming crazily. Stories seem to kind of generate between the two. You also hear that there is a massive feast, not only with the world leaders from across the globe coming to Greg's Tom City of Diamond's Death, but that not only the Cryptic Cabal, as well as your own group, is apparently going to be put into an award ceremony in front of said world leaders, and will be expected to kind of be present at a massive feast with them. You also learn that there has been more rumors about the spreading of necromancy. Many of the soldiers seemingly kind of whispering and commenting on some of the merchants that have been traveling through the lands, saying how necromancers have been popping up all across the globe in cities, and magic has been just vanishing amongst the citizens in the cities where these necromancers are being spotted. Though no one seems to understand if there's a correlation or if it's just a causation at this point. The last thing you get as far as information is that there is rumors that the first Papul, the Toth leader, has recently been dethroned from his castle and is currently in hiding amongst or on the continent of Draffica, where you guys currently are. That one, I imagine, catching a little bit more of your attention. Just a tad there.
We don't like whenever they're out and about.
Oh, it's going to get better. Oh, here we go. But yeah, as you guys kind of continue this, Aether, you learn that, especially amongst your party, that this group hasn't been traveling for very long. Though they've been together for over a year, in truth, they haven't been done very much in accomplishments compared to what you've heard of other adventuring groups that have been starting to pop up in different areas. They talk about how you can learn about them having passed through the frost giant lands of Frimp Purser's last hold, having managed to get an airship to come all the way out here to Greg's Maratom's lands with the plans to take out a colony of Zil at one point, and instead deciding as a group that it would be easier to become just a fully active mercenaries. Getting a rough idea of their story overall amongst them, you get the sense that their group's not fully yet meshed, but is definitely a little bit more well-traveled at this time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I just kind of turn to Ned at one point and say, so do you often have trouble sticking to a plan?
I mean, once we get it figured out, usually we can follow it, but there's not always a plan,
Well, that makes sense. There's more. You seem to change direction quite often.
Well, I can always tell you where north is.
I just pat him on the thigh.
Yeah.
I was like, so could I underground. I was just begun accumulating a list of Nedisms, and it's in the back of my head is Ned culturally believes that one should state things about oneself from time to time, and it's polite to do so in return.
Wait till you see his donation bucket.
And the fact that he thinks he still runs a grove.
Yeah, I will say you do learn, as far as from the general bits, that, so Ned, well, it depends. How much would Ned tell about his backstory along the 7 days?
Ned's a friendly old guy. He's going to share his whole life story once he
Oh,
gets to know him.
okay. So yeah, as the travel goes on, you learn quite a bit with Ned about him.
Including how the magic with plants and parents kind of works.
You get what is basically a bushwhack history and understanding of the world through Ned of a druid who founded his own grove by bringing a bunch of people together, then decided to go out to get donations for this grove, but he, being as naive as he is, just signed on with the first guy he basically found that had a similar goal to travel, and then ended up on a raft almost dying. As they ended up in the ocean, middle of the ocean, and barely managing to survive to get to the Frost Giant lands.
Oh Lord.
You hear the story or hear that about the comment of what the difference between a butchery or about a thing called a butchery, which you pretty easily pick up as a butchery, and that or a butcher, and that that Ned has a massive issue and is very squeamish when it comes to the slaughter of animals.
Hamburger is a crime on nature.
I like slowly hide my hamburger behind my back.
The rest of the party, I will note, does have a lot of meat rations.
I'm a dwarf. I cannot survive on vegetation. I require like 3,000 calories of red meat a day.
Exactly. But Ned's
Ned eats meat. He just doesn't realize where it comes from most of the time.
The great red root.
I just start like calling it. Oh, here you go. Here's your nice your nice beef flour.
Yeah, yeah. But as you travel, you get the sense Ned is a very innocent individual when it comes to the world and its like understanding and cruelties. Not necessarily in a sheltered perspective, but he's a very nature child like individual. Kez seems.
I also try to introduce you to the wolf at one point.
Oh, the dire wolf
Not
pulling
thinking
your
about the fact
cart.
that you can't talk to them like I can.
Mm-hmm. As you kind of point to the direwolf cart that's pulling the cart, the direwolf seems to look back as Ned introduces them, as he just starts kind of barking at you slightly, Aether. And you, as he kind of does this, it looks over at you like expecting you to almost answer back.
I just gotta like look around and like nod sagely and just like shrug. I was like, I'm sorry. Ned, can I get a translation?
Oh, he just said it is nice to meet you, and he hopes that you don't die so he doesn't have to eat you.
I just gotta like give like a bit of a bow and say, oh, the feeling's mutual.
You see a concerned look suddenly in a direwolf's eyes as it looks back forward.
He had Ned's.
As the days do go on, Kez seems quite slightly hesitant to talk to you and open up about himself. Seemingly only giving a bit about that he is a cleric who serves a god of death and has a sacred belief that death is a full event. You shouldn't bring back the dead from there once they are passed. Not really going too into details about him. The only thing you do really pick up immediately is that he's very effeminate looking, though he talks about the little bits about his life that he talks about being a smith previously. When you get little pieces of information from him, doesn't fit with his very, as is literally described on his character, twink-like physique. As he is 9 feet tall as a fire giant, and quite thin, but very well muscled, if you will. He also gives a very gruff, almost sailor-like voice, which I cannot do justice to, unfortunately, as Kez isn't here. From Dom doesn't seem to open up too much throughout the time, seemingly quite quiet, eyeing you and just kind of listening more than anything. Not outright aggressive, like looking at you as if you're a danger, but you do get the sense that they are still kind of hesitant on whether you're a threat to the party or not. As you kind of, they kind of seem to hold off of any information to give you that would be important.
Yeah,
It's a
admittedly.
long.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a long trip, so at one point Ned would probably, to Kez's dismay, tell you all about how the Zilpit person you heard about is in love with them.
Oh yeah, your fun time, and you already know that from the episodes. So,
On the Dom interaction, admittedly, it's very much I think two-way on that at the moment, given the emanations of evil that they seem to give off.
it's fully fair. Yeah.
Very much trying to still unravel whatever the fuck is going on with that. This is like part of notes is like maybe doppelganger question mark.
Hey, as they do seem as a fire giant, they do kind of look, kind of give you a look every few moments. Whenever you seem to be kind of listening in and hearing stuff from as Ned kind of starts to explain some fun story that to him is like a joke from their past adventures. Dom seems to kind of every once in a while stop Ned on certain comments, and Ned just seems to skip over and just start talking about the next part of it. So it does kind of come off very cautious as the time goes on, as things go with the 7 days. Although it does become more lighthearted as you get closer to the city, especially when Dom finds out that apparently Utham will be in the city and will be at the meeting. You do see almost like a slight sparkle in their eye that they do not hide in the slightest. But yeah, as you finally make it to the city of Diamond's death after the 7 days, arriving there, you do see Zilpip kind of walking throughout the streets as he's going about his business, kind of selling, buying things as he comes walking through. As Ned and it's Ater. I don't know why I keep thinking it's not. I've got in my notes is written as something else for some reason here. Let me fix that. Because when I was looking at your name earlier, I thought it was something else fully, so I read it as, yeah. And I don't want to go into my stupidity on that one. But as you kind of go into the city, though, you see a Zilpip's kind of walking about. Zilpip, do you, kind of go and check up on the party, or are you going to kind of keep your distance given what's been going on? I see you are on mute, so, but I assume you're PMing me. Nope. Give a minute. All right. Oh, there we go.
Hello?
Welcome here.
Hey, thank you. Sorry, you said Zilpip and I spilled my fucking drink.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully,
No, you're good. You're good.
Party foul.
Yeah, fucking party foul, dog. Yeah, I will go up and see my lady love. And I guess my student.
I was as you go to open, Ater and Ned, you see as Zip walks over to the wagon and kind of goes to part the little covering a little bit, and as he does so, you see is almost a quick glimpse of a shadow. Something bolts out the back.
It's like look back and like start looking for where Kez went.
Yeah, as you look in, Kez is gone. Dom's kind of napping in the back, slightly snoring as you look in, Zilpip.
Where is my one true love? Don't tell me she died in the battle.
I don't know. Have you tried looking in a mirror?
Have I? Excuse me.
What? You have to
I
love
don't
yourself
believe
first.
I've met you.
I will say, hey, Tara, you take a look. Zilpip, why don't you describe how you look? Because as this individual that hasn't seen you.
Zilpip, as you would know, is short even for a gnome, but as your character would know, is maybe the most stunted and weird-looking snowbeard you've ever fucking seen, because gnomes don't exist at this time period.
He's a dwarf, basically.
He's a dwarf. He has no beard. He has this weird, like, leather and glass mask at his side, just strapped to his hip. Long silver hair. and one gleaming red eye, and one gleaming violet eye. and like a bandolier of little vials, mostly made of clay, so you can't really see what's in them. But the ones that you can see don't look like they contain anything in them. Yeah. So this guy opens the back of the thing. Where is Kez?
I don't know.
Did I
Ned?
see the boar go out the back, DM?
Oh yeah.
He went that way.
Thank you, Ned. Do I see where
Uh,
Kez went?
As you look about, Zopip, seeing down the road, the individual kind of covering their head in now what looks to be a freshly bought thing of robes, and like kind of trying to dip down an alley without being seen. It doesn't take too hard to catch who that is as you start, I assume, chasing after.
Not quite.
Oh, okay.
I'll catch up with her in a second. I haven't met you yet. Who are you?
And just like kind of stand up off of the cot, give like a brief bow and say, Iter Frosthorn. Nice to meet you. I take it you're Zilpip from what the companion said.
I am indeed Zilpip. Iter, did you fight in the battle with them? Was my woman brave? Did she kill many men?
Firstly, you know Kestanok is a man.
Is
right?
a beautiful woman, and mine.
I don't know if you're delusional or just really don't want to hear that part.
I mean, technically you don't know until you know.
As Ned just looks at both of you with this.
Kind of shrug.
In all fairness, I will say, Ned and Dom have not seen Kez without, like, clothing. They've only seen him either in his armor or fully clothed, so...
Kind of locking eyes with this new guy for a few seconds. Before going, exactly right, Ned. You never really know until you know. That's very true. You know, welcome to the party. It's very nice to meet you, Iter. And I want you to have something. I am what you might call this party's sponsor. I love to see them do well, especially Dom, and especially my woman. And please, use this to protect them. And I'll take a little vial off my bandolier and hand it to you.
I have a bit of an odd expression as I handle the gift. I appreciate it, but I didn't fight with them. I suppose I.
Oh, but you will in the future, yes?
Of course.
Well, do not break this anywhere near my love.
No, they're
But
allergic.
Yes, she is very allergic.
Dom's eyes are going wide as they see this item being handed.
So is Ned, and so is Dom. Really, only dwarves can be around it. Sorry, snowbeards.
How poisonous is this thing?
Very.
All right. Well,
Anyway,
never turn down
ta-ta,
a way to
cheerio.
save somebody.
I just met a funky little bird, and I'd like to talk to him again. And I head down the street to the dock.
Have a good day.
Good to see you, Ned.
Nice to have met you.
I swear to God, Zilpip, I'm gonna kill you for that.
Just saying, out of character, knowing what it is terrifying.
Stop giving players white phosphorus bombs!
Hey, that one, I haven't told you what it is yet.
I know what it is! You only have so many options.
I have a couple options.
God damn it. You're gonna learn, you don't, just trust me on this, don't use that thing unless you're about to die. Also, I will warn you, that individual item, the glass, as you kind of take a look at it, without even an appraisal, you do notice it's very thick glass.
Yeah. I was honestly going to do like a spellcraft to see if any part of it was actually magical, but I think that might be a foregone conclusion. It's not.
As you can take a look, I can tell you as, without it, there's no magical symbols on it. You see, it just looks to be a simple, vial.
Got it. I take it and I like wrap it in like all of my clothes.
Alright. Kind of shove it into your backpack, I assume, kind of in a nice, comfortable spot.
Yep. Make
Okay.
sure it's as insulated as possible.
Alright.
So what should I put this besides Mindfuck from Zilpip?
Yeah, that works. You could call it a gnomish grenade. Was the old gag of what they the gnomish bomb. Yeah, the Zilpip bombs was another one.
I like Zilpip bomb better, I think.
Yeah. But as he kind of Zilpip goes running down the street, leaving you there. The buildings seem to be still being rebuilt. A lot of the town looks to be slightly under construction as you enter in. Many of the shops seemingly kind of being rebuilt. A lot of merchants seemingly coming in. Ned, for your own reference, the last time you were here, the city was pretty destitute at the time. People had already kind of started to leave out and run after a previous night's scare. Now it's booming. You see airships flying over into the skies now, merchants running about the city. There are thousands of people now out and about. It's almost intimidating with the amount of number you see.
I would hold on to your coin purse.
Oh, trust me, I will. Thank you, though, Ned. I appreciate the concern. You know, Ned?
Yeah.
We've only traveled together for a little while. I think I rather like you. A very kind individual.
Well, I appreciate that. My grove, we do accept donations.
Are you gonna pull out the bucket, Ned?
I jingle it a little, yeah.
How did I help you instead of donation? It seems like you've lost your grove.
I did?
Well, you haven't talked to them in a little while, have you?
Well, I mean, I'm collecting, and they're working, so no.
Like fish through my pockets and like pull out like a gold piece. Take like a moment to shine it, and then like give it over to Ned and say, "Well then, allow me to be. Here's my alms for you."
Yes.
I will say, as you look in the bucket, you do notice that there's the symbol of the grove that's in there is familiar, surprisingly, as there is a recent hero, as well as slightly villain, given what they did, that bore this similar symbol upon their armor during the siege against of Hemescus Port, or Hemescus Strongport, I believe is what it was. Yeah. The individual was a very powerful druid that was noted to have been at the attack. You can give me a knowledge, history, or an intelligence check to see if you can remember more details.
It's just gonna be a flat intelligence check on that one.
That works.
5. So no.
You remember they were a druid and they wore a skull on their head and rode a giant bear into battle, but, I mean, it's kind of almost such a tale that it kind of sounds almost kind of to be not true, as you kind of think about it long term.
Yeah, I like think back to like the Zilpip being like a 16-headed Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it's probably bullshit.
But as you kind of, the two of you kind of talk and look about the town, continuing on. One of the guards comes running down the street. What you see, what looks to be a very lightly armored, but very large-looking dragonkin, very wide in the shoulders, with very bright blue scaling. Little bits of white kind of mix into a couple of the scales and splotches. Their teeth a little seem to almost give off a bit of a bluish glow as they come walking over, giving a big smile. Standing about 7 feet tall, they look over at you lot and go, you must be. He kind of opens up a little book. A couple of what looks to be guards, kind of standing behind him, wearing full leather. Similarly, looking to be dragonkin of some sort. Both look to be those simple black scale. Mm-hmm.
As he's looking at the list, I just grab his hand. Ned grass and trees.
Yes. I've been ordered by the royal guard to escort you lot to the palace, as we're worried of potential assassinations, given the recent excursions that's been going on. If you'll follow us, we'll take you straight to the castle, as well as get you through the gates and get you all set up to meet with the Greg's Marathon himself.
Is this guy evil?
Can I sense motive?
Go ahead and give me a sense motive. Your detect evil is not flaring off.
All right.
19. What are you trying to tell about this guy?
Is the meeting actually taking place down where he's taking us?
As you kind of look to the direction he came from, and the two guards kind of standing behind him with the similar emblems that you've seen before, it's the direction of the palace. I mean, you've been to the up towards the palace before, not into the palace, of course, but because you decided you lot went to the library at the Bard schools, or one of the Bard schools, but you've been up towards the palace square. It's the same direction.
Oh, okay.
And looks at you and goes, "All right, just follow us, and we've already made sure your friend Kesnanok has taken up there. They'll be meeting us shortly. Quite a feisty female."
Kesnanok's a man.
Whatever you say.
Also, he didn't get in jail again, did he?
He looks at you and goes, "Well, and, I don't have a Snowbeard on the list. Are you their latest slave, or are you a higher hand?"
I'm just gonna sigh and say, I'm part of the group.
He's the new hire.
He nods. Ned, and looks back to you and goes, "Well, allow me to explain how you Snowbeards are accepted around these parts. Because you're not. You lot are great slaves," as he kind of looks you up and down. "But not much value outside of that, so let your betters do the talking for you while you're in town." And he kind of just turns, and kind of with his guards continues walking. Utham's pissed, yeah.
I just start fingering the white phosphorus bomb.
Kind of feeling your backpack slightly thinking, yeah.
I was just must go to the happy place, must not cause an international incident.
As the party kind of continues down the main road, you do spot the large frost giant. Now, not really hiding his appearance. If you want to kind of describe yourself, Utham, as well as once you're done, Yaki, I'll give you also a shot to explain what you're kind of walking around as.
Hell yeah.
But go ahead, Utham, to start.
For the first time, everyone, because Ned's seen him before, instead of his winter clothing, he's wearing a much more sparse kind of berserker outfit. No sleeves, slightly shorter pants, no shoes. And you can finally see his hands are made of black stone. His arms are undead and stitched around the shoulder. He has a fiend tail kind of swaying side to side. His legs are a pure red fiend, with sharp ends, kind of almost digging into the stone. And when he turns, there's two little stone cylinders kind of rumbling in his chest. And he has an eye patch over his right eye.
And then, Yaki, what are you coming?
Is terrified.
Yaki,
Yaki would
who you
appear
want
as
as?
a finely dressed dragonkin with 2 wings, golden scales, and his horns, while they would be there, would be smaller with one still broken and remended with metal. The scar going down his face, and one eye looking a little discolored, although he's not blind in it. He's very nervously twitching and looking around as he stands beside Utham, as he's a little shorter, but not to the size of a normal dragonkin or drakekin.
As you kind of come walking past, Dom kind of slightly sticks out their head, smiling at Utham, and the sparkle and excitement starts to, like, slightly as they start to breathe heavily, getting so ecstatic, they eventually fall over, kind of passing out from hyperfixation as they start almost getting panicking, like they're panicking as they get so excited. Big smile on their face, looking at Utham. Leaving Ned and Aether to look as you pull up next to these two individuals. A merchant kind of haggling with Utham over some metal at the time as they do so.
I mean, if no one talks with him, he's just hanging out.
Does Ned just drive by?
Sees them, they're getting their minds read.
Oh, right, because you were on site. That's right.
It's on site.
I was gonna say it wouldn't take much to hear the thoughts in Dom's head of oh my god, that's Utham, oh my god, I'm excited, like a golden retriever mentality as they pass out.
Like a dog jumping around somebody and barking if they're really happy.
Yeah. But as that fades away, Ned, what's your surface thoughts like at this point?
Oh, this isn't surface. This is going deep.
Okay, well that will require a will save. Then Ned, go ahead and give me a will save, as well as Aether.
Is this like a?
Go ahead.
Is this like a passive effect, 17. Or does it have any kind of casting going on?
He is
passive constantly.
He is a type of dragon. For your own note.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a type of dragon that he specifically is. I believe is what this comes from.
No, this is my epic feat.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. Okay.
It's a passive effect from level 21 feet.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Gotcha. It's not a spell like.
No, but we'll save just to still see if you can make it, to see how much of it you can cover up. Is how I usually try and run it for people. So yeah, feel free.
There is a will save for this. So okay. Yeah.
19 from Ned is what I heard.
17.
17.
And Aether. Oh no.
I got nat 20.
Nat 20. How much for total?
22.
Nice. I think a nat 20 still succeeds when it comes to saves, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it auto succeeds.
It auto succeeds. Yep, thank you. I have it here. So yeah, as you manage to keep your surface thoughts only being the one that's kind of gets peered into. Aether, what's your surface thoughts roughly?
Violence.
Violence against the guard that just basically gave you shit.
Yeah, just straight up committed racism.
Yaki's going.
Okay.
Yaki's going to give Utham a signal of two quick tugs on his side. A violent thought there.
Ned, what about yourself? What's your deeper thoughts?
Ned is completely mortified because he's never seen Utham this way before, and he is completely convinced that the necromancer's got a hold of Utham. And so he's just horrified that he's going to have to fight an undead Utham.
The necromancer.
He's going to look at Yaki gets his head down on with a long neck, with his neck slowly expanding out thanks to how his polymorph works. Gets into Ned's face and goes, "He's fine, young one. He's fine. This is how he is." His eyes wide a little bit.
Are we talking to someone? Oh.
Hey
Ned.
What? Did the necromancers?
Ignoring what Yaki just said, basically looking at them.
What necromancers?
They got you?
No, I did this to myself.
What? Are you a necromancer?
Nope.
If he were, my sense would be tingling on him.
Your senses tingle?
Around undead, yes.
Uh, yikes.
You do too.
You tingle around undead?
Well,
I've been stabbed before.
The out of contact.
There is no context.
Ned's just looking between both of you now. Like,
As then Yaki turns back to the metal.
If you're still hearing Ned's thoughts, he's even more mortified now. You've been stabbed by an undead.
I feel like listening to
And it
Ned's
made you
thoughts
It's
is
okay.
an
I
intoxicant.
lived.
right.
I got better. It's okay.
But as you kind of pass, the guard or the escort kind of looks up at Utham and just kind of gives him a side glare and goes, where as he sighs and looks back at you, Ned, and Aether, and goes, "We are on a time schedule. You are not world leaders. You do not have time to meet with the world leaders. They have important schedules, as Greg has declared. Please get a move on."
Important schedule. I'm talking to a merchant. I'm talking to...
Yaki's inspecting the metal for
I
you.
look at the merchant who I just finished haggling with, and I look at the party. I'm just thinking, I'm not doing anything.
The guy continues looking at Ned and goes, "Can we continue now? As they are not your business. They are important people and have things to take care of."
I'm turning towards the guard. I'd like to. And I'm reading his mind now.
Sure.
This is what I imagine Yaki's character as.
As you hear his thoughts, at first you hear the disgust of both as he looks at Aether and looks towards Ned and then Utham. The slight panic as he kind of locks eyes with you, Yaki, and you can hear in his mind as he goes, "Oh shit, that's one of the Dragon Lords. Oh my, oh, Utham must be his slave or servant. That must." I need to be respectful, and then like looking back at Utham and going, "Why is something so disgusting serving a Dragon Lord?" The last surface thought you get is, "I really need a pay raise," as you kind of pull away.
Yaki looks at Utham and goes, "We'll have to talk to Greg about that one.
Oh,
He was very rude."
He was rude to him, too.
The guy looks.
Oh, I heard.
Here.
Guy kind of looks about all of you and goes, I'm standing right here and can hear everything you're saying."
your
betters are talking.
I can hear
Second time
everything
I've
you're
been told that today.
Yaki locks eyes with him. "Yes, and I can hear everything you're thinking."
And you see he goes pale.
Be respectful. Only warning.
He just kind of turns and just starts walking with the guards.
He didn't tell us where we need to sit.
Utham, we can help out your young friends here, can't we?
We're going to the same place.
Delightful. The one with the grassy appearance has very pleasant and calming thoughts.
Ned's quite nice. Yeah.
Good.
You're delving into his thoughts and you're not getting a contact eye? That's impressive.
Yaki's insane. There is no contact high. There is no drug that can make him any worse.
As you kind of start walking, Aether, you're now walking as you realize with Regan Utham, kind of looking at whom you don't need much of a role to know exactly who that is, given your culture and background. The other one, you can give me a knowledge nobility if you have it, or again, I'll take an intelligence check to see if you can tell who this individual is, and like if they're important or not, as you kind of eye them up.
No, the only thing I've got as far as like that for dragons might be Arcana. So just
I'm gonna recommend not doing knowledge Arcana given the insanity of this individual.
Do Arcana.
I don't know if you want to see that. But as you kind of continue on, kind of looking at the two of them, I mean, you can definitely tell the second individual is definitely important, but to what level, it's hard to tell. They could be a glorified bodyguard, or they could be someone of actual note. It's kind of hard to tell. But as you two continue, or as you lot continue, eventually getting to the castle gates, the guards letting you through without issue, you see people of all races walking up, some with guards, some without, some giants, Rakshasa, dwarves, the king of the snow dwarfs themselves, Uthgarum for specifics here. All the giant nobility, almost every world leader seems to be here, though you may not know between the two of you, as we've taken the least knowledgeable in history nobility with the druid and the incarnate. Here we have no.
He will lean down and give them a play-by-play of who's here, and then at the end introduce himself.
Oh, well, that makes my life really easy. I can just copy and paste something. You're about to see a lot of names on a list that you're not gonna recognize potentially.
Or list.
But as you
There you go.
see, alright, let me post it into Sunday.
Turning off my mind reading here because it's supposed to be peaceful and there's supposed to be no evil thoughts. Yaki's trusting Greg.
There you
there's
go.
The first pool. He sees him.
Yeah. So your evil detection.
Oh no.
So, in short, like half at least of these people, you pick up either for evil from their items that they're wearing or evil from the individual. As I did look through, surprisingly, most of the world leaders are not evil, but surprisingly, most of them do have items that are evil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to put out. My scythe alone in this description says it radiates pure, unfiltered bloodlust.
Yeah, so in short, the overpowering of the darkness around is just kind of almost everywhere around you as you get closer. To be honest, it gets to a point where it's hard to differentiate with these individuals.
Yeah, definitely like turn it off or only try and like really like clock in the guards as necessary. Because one of the other things that's, you know, a fun little side effect is like you get stunned if it's twice your HD.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, you would have gotten stunned immediately.
I was gonna say, yeah. Thankfully,
no,
you're
don't
on
worry.
thankfully you're on a wagon, or on a cart that's being pulled, so you don't have to worry about the movement as you're being pulled up.
2 people, other than I think 2 people, no, 3 people. Everyone on this list is level 21.
Yeah.
Or
But yeah, so as you kind of find yourself slightly stunned by the amount of evil kind of all around you, Aether, kind of as you get closer, Ned taking over the reins, as he slowly has the direwolf again, just keeping it Utham and the dragon lords. That as I imagine, Yaki's going to take his dragonkin form fully at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. As you see this, you're an astral dragon, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes,
Yes.
I am. I have no wings. I have a long worm-like body, and
If you're familiar with the Never-Ending Story, think of that dragon.
just instead of wait for golden scales.
Yep. As he kind of turns into this dragonkin, standing now almost in equal height with Utham. As he does so, the two of them kind of head up, leaving you to kind of get your cart situated. As many of the world leaders are already heading in, you do see another group of adventurers that are carrying a small banner on their on the large turtle's back that reads "Cryptic Cabal" as they kind of come walking up, counting 4 members, a large tortoise-like creature with a very bright blue shell. What looks to be a very ugly and tentacled beholder, as the creature is like a mash of pink, very soft-looking flesh. A walking, if I remember right, small or brown bear-sized treasure chest with 52 feet. And then lastly, the most normal of the lot, to be honest, what looks to be just an elf with a very pale skin. As they
although
head
his eyes
in.
don't have pupils.
That's true. His eyes do not have pupils. As they head in ahead of you lot, you also do see a large like creature. Looks to be scaled, having multiple heads, wearing what looks to be full plate, kind of walking into the full ceremonious plate, I should say. Kind of walking in with the world leaders. There are hundreds of them, kind of walking, or hundreds of them. Excuse me, I was reading something here. There are a bunch, all the world leaders kind of walking about, heading up these stairs as you guys find your cart kind of parked. As you kind of go to tie it off, the direwolf seems to understand as a couple of the guards come over bringing meat to it. They detect evil, thankfully not going off as they seem to start feeding the dire wolf, who takes the food unabashedly. As you kind of kind of climb off the cart, Dom slowly waking up after having passed out from the excitement of seeing Utham in town in his normal clothing for the first time. Dom seems to kind of climb out following after you lot. Ned and Aether. Oh, welcome back, Dom. I see you're here.
Yes, sorry, I wasn't sure if I was allowed to speak.
Of course. Let me also, I'm gonna do something for my own note.
You missed Utham and Yaki bullying a guard who was racist.
Yo. I didn't realize it was going to be such a big crossover episode.
You lot kind of come, get off the cart, kind of standing around. Dom, to catch you up, Aether, do you want to describe yourself real quick to, Dom so that he can get kind of from you?
Sure thing. So Aether is fairly tall for a dwarf, but means absolutely nothing in the context of giants. Standing about 5 feet tall. Snow dwarf, fully pallid skin, green eyes. Has a fairly well manicured beard with some brass ornaments to keep it from flowing and getting in the way and everything like that. Similar situation with the hair. Wears finely crafted scale mail, an odd weapon that you probably have never seen before. That has a long spear blade at one point and a fairly large axe blade on the other, as well as a very meticulously well crafted wooden shield.
Nice.
He's changed over the last week or so that you've seen him. Seems to from day to day kind of have these random odd accessories. And the first day that you met him, he had a bit of an odd kind of spectral afterglow as he moved. That since hasn't reappeared, but there's definitely some oddity to the items that he occasionally has on.
Noted.
But as you kind of get out of the cart, the guards kind of taking care of the rest of it. The three of you are left as Kezenok has kind of disappeared off to somewhere. So you were told that he had already managed to get ahead of you lot, and would be inside with the rest of the world leaders. But as you kind of start to head over towards the building, climbing up the stairs, Utham kind of stops. I imagine would be waiting for you lot up at the top of the stairs, kind of looking down as you got your cart parked and such.
Walking up the stairs, I'm like, Dom, I don't know how to tell you this, but I think Utham's necro. Oh shit! So we get to the top. Have a hush up.
I think Utham just looks amused at Ned.
Hi, Utham.
Hello again, Ned.
You said Domnander got out of the cart and is there too, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Then obviously, of course, upon seeing Utham, he would give whatever is the standard greeting established between them and go, Regan Utham? And just a nod.
Domander, I've been waiting to see you again.
I imagine there's much to discuss, Reagan.
Oh, that's for later. First, as he kind of rifles through his bag, I got you a gift on the way here. It's nothing special, and he'll pull out a little Tide box.
Domnander immediately perks up, and he's just gonna wait to see what Utham hands over. Do you hand over the box?
He's handing over the little box. Yeah.
I take it. I look to him and look around. Are there is it pretty crowded or no?
You're standing out front right now. A lot of the world leaders are inside the hall. That with the doors are currently shut as the heat isn't being let out. Because do remember, it's still winter. It's the end of winter, early spring, so it's still heavily raining. The storm's still going. It's not pleasant outside, so most of the people are staying in where the fires are, where it's warm.
Utham loved this. He loved it.
I was gonna say, yeah, Utham in his summer wear here, because this is nothing compared to the frosty mountains he's from.
Dominander's gonna look at him and go, is this something I'm able to open here, or is this for later?
Yes, please.
And kind of, okay. Dominander instantly opens it. Zero hesitation.
There's 2 magic items inside. There's gloves of dexterity, and there's an amulet of health.
Ooh. I imagine Dominander would be able to identify these, correct? Or
Utham just declared what they were to you, basically stating what they are.
Also,
yeah.
the gloves.
okay. I thought that
look
was
very distinct,
Chasten,
but I
my
think
bad.
Nope.
Esso wore the same gloves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Dominander would look them over, and smile like a big grin, inspecting them, and give another, not like a bow, but a deep incline of his head to Utham and go, "You have my thanks, of course. These will serve me well."
Once you put them on, your dex goes up to 7. It goes up by 2, and so does your con for the necklace.
Heck yeah.
For your own notes.
Should I? Am I able to do that now, or is that?
There's no such thing technically as a tuning in 3.5. So yeah, you can actually just put a magic item and it suddenly it works and activates technically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's one of the nice things about 3.5 over 5. Yeah, I will say with magic item. Now artifacts do work to the attunement concept, but that's another argument we can talk about much later on.
All right, let me add
this. I'm hoping none of you end up with artifacts. That'd be very strange campaign, different direction we'd be going.
I've already made one.
I was about to say, I'm gonna make them. What do you mean?
Well, listen, the party avoids my holy Avengers like no other, so...
You changed my class to Paladin. I was a fighter.
Yeah, and it worked. It made a great story. And now he became a very influential NPC much later on. But as you kind of standing out here, Ned, as you walk over to the door and looking inside, you spot very easily the Anvil kind of sitting off to himself. The occasional one of the world leaders kind of stopping by to talk to them, but while the rest of the world leaders seem to be, for the most part, clicked up, the Anvil does not seem to, as he has a table by himself inside, but you do see him.
I'm just jumping up and down, waving the quarterstaff.
All right, you know what, Anvil, you want to give me a spot check to see if you notice from the distance some random person waving a quarterstaff at the door?
Yeah, give me a second.
He met me
I
once.
was not ready for that. Hold on.
That's true.
Would it be a bluff checks to pretend like you didn't notice?
Yeah, right.
It's been like a year, and he's only seen this guy once. Although Ned does look very distinct.
Well, it's more of this stick, I think, that the quarterstaff thing that he's waving. Yeah. It's gonna be really weird. But I do say I'm curious if he's gonna do the bluff to pretend he does not notice at that point.
I
have to sign into World Anvil.
No worries, take your time. While you take a second to do so, as you kind of stand out here, you watch as a very beautiful elf woman kind of comes walking up, standing about 15 feet tall, long-legged, long flowing hair, her raven hair color, and her dark bluish eyes kind of walking up in heavy nobleman's armor, as the very thick studded leather that she wears looks to be very ornate in its design, comes walking up and smiling. But as she kind of opens her mouth, you hear the most gruff, mannish voice you've heard in existence as they go walking up to Utham and go, "Ah, Regan Utham, how you been?" As they put their hand out to shake their hand.
I'll take their hand. I've been doing great, my friend.
Oh, God, I hate keeping up this ugly appearance. You all need to get better at not throwing up when you see my beautiful face.
Hey, we get there. I can finally show off my appearance.
Ain't that the truth? Oh, well, I'll be inside as he kind of looks at Ned kind of pushing the door open and walking past as the Anvil kind of looks over, noticing you. Ned jumping up and down, waving the stick. Now, question: do you actually try to pay attention, or are you trying to pretend you don't notice for that anvil?
Once I see them, I will actually like look at them since I didn't expect them to be the group. And I give a little snort at Ned jumping up and down, waving us staff around.
As Ned, as you see this, do you do anything, Ned?
So to me, it just looks like he didn't notice me.
Uh,
Just looked my direction.
He looks over and seems to give a small chuckle. It looks like for a moment, but that's about all from what you can tell.
Ned just gets excited, and A tier would probably notice. He's probably about as bashful as Dom was for Utham.
As Ned gets kind of a little
Very
bit.
calm, composed, and confident. I'll have you know.
He passed out before you got here.
Yeah, you did.
First time seeing Utham.
Decided by me.
In a year, and he's in his summer wear and everything, as it's the excitement
I've
that.
definitely seen him in summer wear before. Okay.
Well, it's the excitement of seeing him out and about, being able to travel with the public, But
Do
as
the group seem any different as I'm looking at them? From the
they
last time I saw them.
they do look to be missing a member. You don't see the smaller one with the weird mask that used to walk around. And that is the same goes for Utham. Utham, of course, you recognize Uldren is not amongst the party.
Yeah, but I got a message from him for where he is.
That is true.
Because I got sent the sending.
That is also true.
Yeah,
I will also
I got-
notice. Oh, good. Sorry.
I was saying, I got fully informed where he went and what he's doing.
That's right. The foot and surprise the manliest voice ever. Yeah. As for the Anvil, you do also notice that they seem to have a dwarf walking around with them now. That was not the case beforehand. You also don't see Kez anywhere. The very effeminate looking one amongst them, which would be hard to miss.
Is the dwarf in any way?
He
I
does
guess,
kind of look
interesting.
similar to a dwarf you saw briefly in Hrimperser's last hold, but he looks slightly younger, and just there's something a little bit different. It's just hard to tell, but they look kind of like they could be related, but you could also just be kind of looking at them and thinking they all look the same. It's hard to tell from the distance. But as as this individual turns to you, he looks down to you, looks over to you, Lot, and goes, "Allow me to introduce myself." As the elf continues talking, the name is I guess King Greg's Maratom these days. As he kind of chuckles to himself slightly. Though, given what's about to happen, that may not be the case for very long, and my head might be on a spike before the end of the night. But as they say, nothing gambled, nothing gained. Allow me to formally welcome you lot to my kingdom, and momentarily, hopefully, to award you with riches and valuables that will make you quite the individuals in the near future. Though you'll have to excuse me, young snow dwarf. You will not be recognized amongst this group, but you are welcome to stay for the food and enjoy yourself.
Just kind of nod matter-of-factly and says, "Of course, I wouldn't dream of it. I didn't share in the effort. No reason I should share in the glory."
It's mostly actually because I don't have your name on my list in the slightest, so I don't actually know who you are. I was told there was 4 fire giants I was meeting with, and I see 2 and you.
Oh.
So, he kind of looks about and goes, You see him kind of take a second. He really looks at Aether for a second and looks him up and down and looks back at Utham and then looks inside the building, or inside the palace entryway and goes, I feel I should probably go do damage control before you walk in. I will be back.
Once.
Oh, what were you going to say, Aether?
I try and grab his attention and say, I know it's a bit untoward, but I do have a list for you. These are the men that may be compromised.
Kind of takes a look at it and goes, This justifies a lot more of what I'm about to do. He kind of takes it and kind of looks over to Utham and kind of shows it to Utham for a second. The list of multiple names on there that some of them amongst the mercenaries that even served in Nef's mercenary company. And kind of takes a second looking at it and goes, I'll make sure that Uthgaram doesn't hurt you or harm you today then. I feel it's at least the minimum I can do for the kindness you've done. And he kind of pulls out a pouch and just kind of hands it to you and goes, I don't know how many coins it is, but there's your reward. And he turns and kind of starts to head inside.
Kind of like flash a reserve smile. Give a bow to Utham and say, if you could you make sure that he understands that it's not a confirmed list. It's suspects, but it should hopefully be more than enough to start.
With the for lack of better term, shit he's already in, he understands. Trust me, he won't do anything else crazy with how many people are already calling for his head.
I will say, as Greg enters, you do start hearing shouts amongst the groups in common. The rough argument sounds in the background, something about the first Papool's head being called for his immediate execution.
Utham's smile kind of goes to like a grimace, like not the happy, carefree smile he had a minute ago, and he's like, I should probably gather my faction to try and stop the madness. And he just sighs. All right, Yaki. Looks like it's time to get to work.
Oh, great. Should I tell Greg about the one that was really rude before to you and me, or wait till after all this if he's still alive?
We'll deal with it after the meeting. We don't want to strain anything else.
As the two
Good
of
luck,
them
little ones.
kind of give you a curt nod and a kindness and turn and head in. You watch as they go to gather with a rather large storm giant that looks to almost be 3 times the height of Utham, who Utham was already towering over most of the world leaders. This individual looks to be this brutish, angry storm giant, though they have the biggest and brightest smile on their face as they look about, all full grin, excitement, and happiness exuding from every inch of their body. The other looks to be, as you really recognize, a Tear as Uthgaram of the House of Enkos, who seems to almost immediately lock eyes and give you a bit of a glare of what you cannot tell is not kindness.
Yeah.
I think they'd...
Go ahead, Ate.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just like give like almost like I give it the cheekiest bow I can.
Okay.
It is as polite as possible.
You're putting your nobleman thing. Give me a perform check. Let's see how realistic this goes.
Do I notice this?
If you're watching towards the door, given you're not at a table with multiple people, I'd say it'd be pretty easy to spot this group kind of coming in.
Well, that's a 6.
You try to be curt and not show your slight disdain as well as annoyance given your family's current situation and history. As you bow, not forgetting just a month ago that individual who just caused all those problems was also serving that same god. That you can't help but have a bit of animosity as you bow, kind of not very deep and just slightly to them as you keep locked eyes on them, but turn to look to to talk to your party again. Utham, what were you gonna say?
They'd see a curt nod to Uthgar, but they would see him actually like clasp hands like friends with Og, because those two are actually friends outside of being allies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as Uthgaram does seem to look up at Utham with his stars in his eyes. Pretty clearly, though, seemingly kind of correcting and comfortable, like refitting themselves as they kind of reset their armor a bit and sit down. It's not hard for the 3 of you to pick up who's the puppet there. As you kind of look about, you do see the groups are kind of congregating amongst the tables. As you notice the specific groups, I'm going to actually just write it out so you don't have to keep track of it, because it'll save you a bit of time. But as you look to it, for those who are listening, you see that Terracitus, the leader of the Rakshasa, Greg's Maritam, the three giant Endrickson giants, meaning the stone, the hill, and the crystal giants, the Gloom representative, and Laha, as in Blood's End himself, the other Draco Lich, kind of sit together in one group. Movasi, Fikfi, Korix, and Nolthom, the Dragon Lords, kind of sitting together in another. Utham seems to be sat with Yaki Roxer, Uthgarm, and Og. And then the other two groupings, the third, the almost second to last, with Himin, Sunna, and King Endrick, as well as Torges, the king of the Proto-Fiends. Seems to be kind of an odd pairing. Most people seem to be kind of eyeing up. The last one is, you see Seji, which, I mean, it's pretty hard not to notice a pseudo-troll given their tentacle-like appearance. The outer skin looks to kind of move unnaturally as it seems to, almost the body looks to be piloted by these weird tentacles within, as it tries to kind of look like a normal orc, or a normal troll standing in front of you. Though its skin looks to be blackened in color with slightly red around the feet, kind of painted on, and what looks to be a blue, a very thick blue paint across the face. They seem to be talking to what looks to be a pixie. That the two seem to be getting kind of avoided by the rest of the world leaders amongst those. There is a bunch that seem to kind of sit among by themselves, those not named, that kind of almost seem to stay separate, leaving the groups. But that's kind of what you see as the food is being kind of brought out to tables, set aside as people are kind of talking. Some more shouts about the first pet pool as Terrasitis kind of stands up yelling about it. Og, Brightwing, and Uthgarm seem to shout something about the fact that the Thrycreen shouldn't be allowed to stand as representatives of nations. A few things kind of go back and forth. I won't go into the full details as you kind of hear this, but it's very clear the factions are mostly upset as the time goes on about the Greg's Maritam's recent conquest and the first Papul, who is sitting at the opposite corner from the entry where you guys are currently standing. Though you do see him sitting alone currently. So Ned, Dom, and Aether, what do you want to do?
Can I have, since I was missing a little bit more context on what this gathering was for?
So what your party managed to gather, what they have shared, is that you are being rewarded for your services in the Siege of Adventure's beginning. However, and Greg had basically called an audience with a couple world leaders originally as the rumors were going. However, that turned into a bigger event as more world leaders wanted to attend, and then now it became a global event where they're now discussing issues at Greg's court, basically. That's the general gist of what the rumors have been. Yeah.
An event where we're meant to keep to ourselves, or we're expected to mingle with world leaders? Because if this is an event where we're supposed to kind of stay to the side, Dumnunder's not going to approach these powerful people. But if we're meant to mingle...
You lot were not given any context. You just see the world leaders are kind of shouting things at each other and seem to be kind of going table to table and whispering and talking. There's a lot of movement going, and you, as far as it goes, and one of the kind of servants that would pass by would inform you lot that within about another hour is the expectation of the award ceremony. So you are welcome to drink and eat as you wish.
I would say I think Donander would turn to Ned and Aether. Aether? Just
Eider.
How's the pronunciation?
Eider.
Okay.
I get it wrong.
I
Yeah,
would
we're
look
gonna
to
get...
Eider and go, I'm going to check in with my Reagan and see if anything needs done of me. You're welcome to accompany me or see to it, but I think it's best we remain a low profile while people are. He looks at like all the fighting and just like takes it for a second and goes, and see. And we'll walk off towards the table Utham's at. But wait to be like acknowledged. He's not going to speak first because there's world leaders present.
All right, Eider and Ned, are you following after?
No.
I say that table has your king sitting at it. That
Yeah, I might die if I go over there. In all honesty,
Your king won't do shit if I have anything to say about it.
I will say, it is very. I mean, the room is pretty clearly broken up amongst the world leaders of Movas or Terrasitis, Movasi, Utham, Himin, and Seji being the main faction leaders, and those are the ones who seem to hold most of the power currently.
I did have like a possibly dangerous
Always
idea,
love that. Yes.
which is I would kind of like to go talk to the pixie lady and the proto troll.
I don't.
No. Oh no.
Yeah. As you'll head over there. All right, we'll start. We'll start with you here in a moment, Ned. During this, when as Eider goes to talk to Seji and the pixie, are you which one are you gonna follow? Dom, or are you gonna follow Eider?
You said there's 4 tables, basically.
There's more. There's like a couple of tables set out there, kind of open, no one's sitting at. But for the most part, it looks like 5 tables are kind of where most of the people are focused around.
So Ned is just gonna walk in and go sit down at the 3rd table.
Hey, that's
Not even really
Okay.
say anything, just
All right.
pop down.
Yeah, as we'll come back to that. So we're gonna start with Eider to go from the top down. As you walk over to Seji and the pixie, a Lithra, I think I got that right.
Yeah.
You notice the pixie's eyes are slightly filmed over, and the voice, while it comes through, slightly lacks a bit of emotion as it does. It seems kind of more very clean and monotonous in its sound and the way it speaks. As the two seem to kind of notice you, they almost quiet immediately as Seji kind of looks at you and goes, "Are you a world leader?"
No. Friends with people that are here to be celebrated. I apologize. I didn't mean to intrude. I just I'm woefully unfamiliar with your kind, and I thought I might make an acquaintance.
He nods and goes, "My name is Seji. I am known as the big brain of my lands. This is, and he looks over to the pixie and kind of waits for a response to see what to say.
This body's name is Elithra, but currently you are talking to Zebra.
Was that
Uh,
Zebra with an M? Oh,
With an
Zebra.
M? Zebril?
Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah,
Zebril?
the screen name. There we go.
Yes.
I give like my politest bow to the both of you. And say that's a fascinating method of referring to yourself. Do you take different bodies often?
I, as is my kind, take many forms, yes. Though some deem it less than natural, it is the purest form of my people.
Like nod, like internal monologue going on. Is like, yeah, that makes sense.
What are his thoughts saying?
Oh, now you've got another person who can read your brain. Yeah, I was gonna say, welcome to the eccentric world leaders who have nothing better to do than to fuck with you lot because they are all way too powerful to fuck with each other.
Fair enough. So, is it specifically Zebra fucking reading my mind?
It's only Zebril. Seji cannot read your mind, don't worry.
Oh, thank God.
Despite him being the biggest brain of his people.
You do notice his body's very muscled. He is looks to be a very capable fighter. He doesn't look to be, at least from what you can tell, there's no sign of any caster items on him, no staffs or focuses or anything.
Alright, I DM'd you what the fuck I was thinking.
Okay.
Alright. As Seji kind of just looks between the two of you and looks back and goes, "Are you interested in doing mercenary work full time? I find myself expecting to go to war soon, and I would love to have some new potential scouts or some trainees to help work up in my army's experience."
Possibility. I'm more of an artisan, my skill set, I think, will eventually lead me towards further and further climbs in that regard. I never mind the idea of it, the very minimum. Do you have any sort of natural resources that we could discuss? I'm fascinated by the oddities of resources I've never seen before. And like pauses, like mid sentence, like gulps like hard and like turns slightly white, turns to the pixie for a moment, like turns back to Seiji.
I will say, as you are looking at Seiji, he is from the fires that are kind of stoked in the room. His skin, you do realize, is coated in like a thin metal that is like glowing in the different colors. Like his face paint of blue is an actual solid piece of metal painted onto his skin. The bit of red you saw around his legs looks to actually be painted on and looks to be actually solid metal as he kind of moves his foot around. He kind of smiles at you, and he kind of tosses you a small bag. As you look inside, there looks to be 4 coins: a green coin, a gold or yellow coin, a blue coin, and a red coin.
Yeah, just a look of pure dwarven avarice.
He kind of said, you kind of looking at you, doesn't seem to really catch on to the understanding, and goes, that metal should serve you well. I dealt with another similar to yourself recently that was looking for it. James something or other.
Ah, my cousin.
He looks at you and goes, then there is much that you will achieve in the future. You'll enjoy a surprise, I imagine, here quite soon.
Just hoping to that. I apologize, I'm quite rude. I neglected to introduce myself. I'm Eiter Frosthorn. It's a pleasure to meet the both of you.
Seiji kind of nods and kind of reintroduces himself again as the big brain, with 2 G's as he specifies now. That is very, very specific, I want to make clear.
Trust me, the pleasure is all ours, friend. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
And you're here for the awards ceremony.
Mostly as collateral. I didn't do anything for the awards, but that is.
Understood. Well, truly it was a victory for us all, was it not?
And I'm certainly reaping some rewards that I didn't exactly work for, but I hope to pay it forward.
Of course.
As you kind of finish this, a commotion kind of starts up as shouting and guards start rushing to a corner of the room where none of your party mates are. And we'll come back to that in a moment as we jump back for a moment, back over to Dom. Dom, as we jump over to you, as you kind of, you and Ned, because as you both kind of sit down at the table, or Ned just goes walking, Ned walks kind of past you. As you kind of go to stand there, Dom, waiting to be acknowledged and be welcomed to the table, you see as Ned kind of slips past you and just goes to sit down at the table across from the two, or Og and Uthgarum.
To be clear, Donator will sit at the table. He just wherever he can get seat closest to Utham. He's just not going to speak until acknowledged.
Okay. I thought you were
invited to this event. He's not that much of like a pushover rules follower. He just knows like there's world leaders. He's not going to butt into conversations. He's been invited. He will sit himself down.
Okay. Yeah, as you sit down, Og and Uthgarum kind of look over at Utham. And kind of, as Yaki gets up to go tell someone else something, go tell another world leader, or go jump to another table to tell them something, as Utham whispers something into his ear, you watch as Yaki kind of goes to step over to talk to Greg for a second, or what you now realize is Greg's Maratom in his elvish feminine form, as he sits at a table with his group of world leaders discussing something. As Utham kind of turns to look at to you lot, Og and Uthgarum kind of look over to Utham, and Uthgarum kind of looks immediately at Utham and goes, "You need to kill that Papool, otherwise we're gonna have problems, and we need to kill Greg before he becomes more of a threat."
Utham will put up a hand.
Mm.
I just sent Yaki to inform the others that I agree with the vote to kill the Papool.
And we aren't killing Greg? Uthgarm continues.
Think about the chaos if we killed Greg.
Think about the money, though.
Think about the money lost when all the wars start.
Fine. It's your call in the end. You know, I've got too much to recover from. It's not like I can send troops anyways.
Don't worry. I'll start to send trade soon to help you recover quicker, easier.
Og kind of looks over to Domnander and Ned, and with a smile on his face, goes, as this, like, I will say, is this massive storm giant, like, he is 3 times the size of Utham, and he is muscled to the nines. He looks as if he is a barbarian, but he has the biggest and warmest smile on his face as his eyes look so kind, and he looks over at you two and goes, so tell me about yourselves. Tell me about your grand adventures. I've heard so much about you from Utham, but I'd love to hear about what you've been up to.
Introductions. This is Og. He's one of my closest friends.
Og Britwing. As he kind of smiles.
You, of course, know Domnatter, my son, I suppose. Innocent.
Donator does seem to sit up prouder when you claim him as that. But doesn't say anything.
Og
like,
gives a worried.
As smug.
Og is giving a worried look to Utham, given his own Utham's own parentage.
Ned's eyes widen, and he now wonders if Dom too is a necromancer.
Poor Yaki's got a little slight tinge of that in the back of his head in the background, I imagine.
I'll just shake my head at Og.
Yeah, you know what? If Yaki could, Yaki would set up this permanent mental link with Ned.
No.
It's calming.
God damn it. No, go back to your thing. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Utham.
I'll just shake my head at Og, like, no, I'm not gonna do anything like that.
Og looks over to Ned and goes, and this one is, other than a plant?
Fire giant, actually. Well, mostly. I guess there's a little plant in there.
I meant, like, your name.
Oh, I'm Ned. Ned Grass and Trees, and I'll just, like, stick my hand out to shake.
As you do, he warmly shakes your hand suddenly with a smile and goes, oh, nice to meet you, Ned. Grass and Trees, are you part of that one grove out by Dragon's Crown?
I'm the leader.
I can't be. That narrow fella is.
Who?
He's a fellow with a weird mask on, has horns coming out of it, rides a giant bear that shoots storms out of his mouth.
He bought a battle axe from me before he went to the war.
He bought a battle axe from Utham before he went to war.
I can't say that rings a bell. Are you sure you're not confusing it?
I believe what's happening is with your absence, they took a stronger druid to lead them.
My point exactly. As Og
Ned's
continues.
eyes widen and he just looks destroyed.
Og suddenly feeling bad slightly goes, oh, but I bet you can go back and easily win them back. To be fair, that person's probably gonna end up dead given they pissed off the snow dwarfs to no end, and you see Uthgarm's just got a scowl on their face.
Although he has been riding that apex monster that popped up recently. That's what people are calling it.
Og gives kind of a long stare into the distance at that comment. He looks back and goes, oh no, the show's about to begin. As the guards kind of go rushing towards the first Papool, grabbing him in the middle as he starts kind of shouting out obscenities for a moment. People start to, you see the votes start getting cast as Terrasitis stands up and kind of shouts that the first Papool is guilty by our rights. You see as for a moment, the guards kind of get focused in on the other world leaders as they look about the room, and as Movasi kind of gets to stand up this massive dragonkin that looks to be having half blackened scales, but a lot looks thicker with their brownish scales kind of coming through on their other half. Almost giving the scales themselves being longer and thicker, not as draconic in design as he kind of stands, and as he goes to cast his vote, about to say something, a quick commotion happens, and as more voices are heard, as you kind of turn to look, suddenly the guards seem to be kind of looking and staring and not able to find the first Papool, as some gasps are heard and people seem to be kind of looking about worriedly.
I was afraid this would happen.
Aether, as you kind of look back over, Sedgwick just kind of smiles over at the pixie and then looks back at you, Aether, and goes, "The hunt is on," as he kind of rubs his hands together.
So it is. So it is.
Well, everyone was looking at
the film recedes from the pixie's eyes.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, Anvil.
Well, everyone was looking at the first pool and that whole thing. Was there anything else happening in the room that no one was paying attention to?
Give me a search check.
Was
Mm-hmm.
my audio cut out briefly
The first
there?
Papool.
You're good, Dom. Yeah. What's up?
The first Papool has ran.
Did-
They're gone.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured that he escaped. I just didn't get the specifics of how.
No one else did either.
He just vanished.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's not good.
Damn.
Ouch.
I have a better search. Can I try?
Sure.
Much better search. Let's see.
And y'all need. Avery does not like the leaders tonight.
Well, we're gonna see if that holds, because I don't really care that much about this roll. No.
Oh.
Likes me.
Unfortunately, you still do not beat the DC as the individual disappears, but as you look about, you do notice for a moment one of the guards that Aether had written on that list of mercenaries and guards that were corrupt that Greg had shown you for a moment, and little descriptions of them with like what they look like, what scale colors they had, any like individual unique markings. One of the guards that you recognized from that list seemed to disappear almost at the same time, vanishing with their armor and all.
Traitors. It's always traitors.
As
Enough of this.
Uthgar,
Ned's like, you got that right.
Oh my god, Yaki.
Yaki's madness takes over, full control, and he goes off the rail as he starts whispering and muttering things to himself. Giving a minor
Roll it
prediction.
doing
I
math.
roll a search
Well, roll
check.
it
I
properly.
pushed a button wrong.
You're good, yeah.
I wonder.
Hey,
No,
man.
you just rolled a 1,000.
That's incredible.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I was say you just scared the new player even more with that kind of stat roll. Poor Ader's gonna end up looking at that and seeing the scariness of Yaki. With a 38.
There's Yaki's search check of a 38.
For a moment, you do notice there's almost a unnatural wind that seems to come through the air, causing much of the fires in the room to flicker, giving just a moment's notice of a bit more shadow around the room that seemed to happen at the same time, though nothing else kind of correlates beyond that that you get, Yaki.
Yaki would whisper to probably Uthan, telling him the pool's magic.
As the shouting kind of continues as you two kind of whisper this to each other, as people start making claims that Greg can't protect them, people are talking about leading. Greg finally kind of stands up in front of the entirety of the group, and in his elven form goes, "I think it will be grand to now move on to the reward ceremony so that we can then move on to more specific topics that we need. And this is a celebration of the talents that were achieved in this grand war, not of how we will be dealing with the situation in post. So I invite all of you as leaders and representatives of your nations, as well as those here to be celebrated, to enjoy a drink and allow the ceremony to kind of begin, if you will," as he kind of goes, kind of snapping his finger, and a golden throne is kind of brought in at a little bit higher up on the staircase as he goes to kind of climb it and sit down. And as he does so, the tables start to kind of be moved, picked up, plates kind of being pulled away. There is instead long, like cushioned pews being brought out by servants as they keep running them out for the world leaders to sit in. Many of them looking to be designed specifically for the factions that have already been shown to kind of formed at this point. As one is brought out, or as the servants kind of continue to do this, Domnander, Ned, and Ader, you find two servants kind of ushering you lot towards the the back corner of the room. One of the butlers, what looks to be a very well dressed male elf with a slightly raven colored hair, and looking very similar to what Greg's Maraton's female elven form looks like, though shorter and slightly leaner, and now being masculine. Kind of walks over to you and goes, as they kind of usher you lot into the corner together, and goes, "All right, so you lot will be going up before the cryptic cabal. Here's the thing you need to know," as he continues to speak in Common. You all can understand Common, I assume, right? As he looks to the two giants.
Yep.
Correct.
Perfect. All right, so I've already, as he snaps his fingers and prestidigitation kind of erupts, giving you a slightly rosier smell, as if you've been bathing regularly and not sieging and on the road for the last week. And he goes, Ader, you can go. You're welcome to go up them. You are there. You are being rewarded with them as part of a representation, but you already know the whole deal as far as that goes. To the two of you, Greg will be rewarding you. You do not need to act shocked. You're being rewarded with land or the option of equivalent goods. You have a few moments to figure out while he kind of fluffs about, giving the details of the siege to the world leaders and tales of your great deeds, to decide now if you would like to be considered vassals of his or if you would like to be given goods. He did say the recommendation is if you took equivalent goods, to request an airship if you're planning to leave, as we do have one that we managed to capture in the siege. But if you're uninterested, that is also fine. You have a few moments as the servant kind of turns and steps away for a second, like just a few feet away, to give you guys some privacy to talk amongst yourselves, as Greg starts going on about some long-winded speech to the world leaders about the events and what happened in the war. As a DM, this is also my prompting to the players that you can now both out-of-game and in-game talk. You are welcome to, if you want to discuss how you want to deal with this.
Okay.
Well, I don't have much of a dog.
Fully, that's understandable. I was just saying, Ned, and how do you guys want to deal with it? What are you thinking?
Domnander, looks to Ned as they're getting ready and the chaos is kind of going around them. I think it would be... I have no interest in becoming a vassal. Do what you will. I do think it is smart for us to get an airship. Traveling by the wolf carriage has not been efficient. We need better travel, and something that also could potentially avoid a lot of the issues we come along on the road. I'm also sorry to hear about the Grove. I, overheard your conversation, and it, I know you care deeply about it. So my condolences. Hopefully you may claim it back one day.
I mean,
and kind of gives Ned a shoulder pat.
At least that means that I get to keep all this money we got.
You could start your own grove somewhere. I'm not sure.
Well, I did that once now, and it didn't go very well, so I don't know. Maybe my friend the Anvil will accept my help someday.
I want to put out there, you were kicked out of your grove. You're just not the leader.
Yeah, Nero stated that you're still a good member.
Yeah, but he doesn't know. Ned doesn't know that. From Ned's perspective, he got replaced. So
wondering if he keeps the donations now, if he's still a part.
That's his perspective. That's up to him.
Ned, it might be worthwhile to ask the Handle about these things. He's right here. You might
This is your
stand
chance.
some good advice.
I mean, he did
He,
give me this staff.
I was going to say he seemed pretty fond of you when you ran into him the one time. As far as world leaders tolerating non-world leaders go, you should
I
have
mean,
a
I
good
did
chance.
take out that crazy guy with a thing of sling bullets and a shield. That's pretty impressive, right?
Ned looks to both of you, expecting a comment, and sees the silence for a moment.
Also, more out of
Is
game,
it-
Mm-hmm.
it might not be the worst thing in the world to claim minor vassalage, especially if we have any interest of rooting out some of the necromancy from this part of the world. So it does give us a little bit of an air of legitimacy than just being kind of adventurous thugs, for lack of a better way of kind of describing it.
We call those mercenaries.
Just kind of kicking in doors. And,
Yeah.
like, "Evil, go away."
I only go indoors that were already open.
It's just the fact that
Now I
they're.
looted everything off of the body, but that's a different story.
And I just happen to have a key to the door that's now open.
I don't want to deal with the, especially given the corruption and issues, deal with all of the complexities that comes with being a vassal, especially to a person I am not sworn to. I am of Reganutham's court. I have that to back my officialness, and if it's not satisfactory, we can get permission to deal with things legally. It's not impossible to get the city guard or a ruler to allow us to act such as what we did. I do appreciate that you seem to care about these things, though. It's a good trait to be cunning. And that kind of gives Air once over, because I don't think he's paid much mind, given there's been bigger things happening. Kind of give you a little look of respect. A little respect. Not much. A little bit of respect.
I'm too short.
Yeah. And so you kind of look over.
He does have to crane down, so it's obvious he's looking at you.
As you kind of see that Ader as you look over, you also notice that the pixie leader seems to kind of head out the main or the front entrance momentarily as they disappear. Yes.
Sorry, just a quick out of character question.
Of course.
Was the offer for goods and as part of those goods an airship, or was it instead of goods you could get an airship?
It said equivalent goods, so it'd be equivalent price of whatever vassalage is worth.
Okay.
Since you're dealing with a merchant king, it's everything has a dollar value or a gold piece value.
Oh yeah, 100%.
No.
Yeah.
Now, Dom, to play devil's advocate one last time, and then I'll swear I stop. The problem is the corruption. Or one of the bigger issues you have is the corruption. And fighting corruption is, usually easier whenever you can root it out.
I do kind of have a concern, though. If people already want his head, then becoming a vassal might put your head on the spike, too.
Domnander, immediately nods as Ned speaks. I'm not going to say I'm the most adept in the political sphere. It's not really my place. But from what I've been told and what I've heard, he's got quite a bit of enemies and hot water he's in. I don't know that I want to potentially get involved in that. Sorry?
No, you're good. That was on me. As you kind of hear this, I want to mention, you do hear as Greg's Maritime finally kind of cuts into the next part of the conversation. Here, as he goes, you catch a little piece of it as you guys are having this conversation, as he goes, and now to you, the Zilpip's cohort and the representative of him. We recognize you as one of our new vassals, having been given the right and position that was rewarded to your master and knight. We expect you to take up this position going forward. And the creature kind of bows as you see this like mini-headed hydra kind of standing up front. As they kind of head down, the second part you catch is something about the individual named Neff also accepting vassalization. And Neff, Dom, and Ned, if you don't recognize that name immediately, is the leader of the mercenary group who basically led the charge on the castle.
The character who? Could you say the name
Neff.
again?
Neff, as an N-E-P-H.
Neff.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yep.
just didn't catch it.
No, yeah, you're good. No worries. Yeah, so I will mention that you do hear this. So you do hear that two others do accept the vassalization before, while you guys are having this conversation. Just because, as Ned puts this out, that, about the worry. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate. I just want to make sure the players have agreed that you hear. So.
Yeah, I would say I don't know out of character that I know what all vassalage entails.
Good question.
Fully in this setting.
Yeah. You would have to.
Domnander would know fully either in character.
You can try and give me a knowledge nobility check for it, or I'll take an intelligence.
Yeah.
Base intelligence.
Man.
11.
11.
You said knowledge. What?
Knowledge nobility. Yeah, if you have it.
I think I don't know that I have it.
We do not.
So let me find.
Yep. We need our wizards in the party. Or bard, something.
A bard, yeah, someone.
Look, I'm smart. I didn't study politics, though.
Listen, hey, if Greg ends up with no lands, you guys hiring? I figure I'll hedge my bets a little bit here, just in case.
Hey, I'm still willing to do work. I just don't know if I want to be a vassal.
Money and taxes, always a good thing.
Is only an 11. I got a bad roll.
All right, between the two of you, now that was an intelligence check to check, Dom. You didn't have knowledge nobility, you said?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
No,
Want
I
to make
didn't
sure.
have knowledge ability, just plain intelligence.
All right, want to make sure. Okay, so as you kind of think about this for a moment, the basic understanding of what you'd know about vassalage from Movasi's lands would be the clearest perspective. Given that you are all fire giants, it would be a hard stretch to understand it. As well as the fire giant nation also had what would be considered vassals. In your homeland, the term was a common use for someone who had sworn to the crown to defend it. They paid a small tax to the crown annually and then basically sent men over to train and serve as needed. Beyond that, they pretty much had the run of their own territory and didn't have much of a requirement to do anything else from your perspective and understanding. From the work, as far as what you know from the dragons and Movasi's empire being the most prominent vassal state, it was most commonly dictated that all the dragon lords did was pay tax to the king. All money went through. That he took a huge portion of the taxes from each nation whenever they did trade, but beyond that, there wasn't much else required of them.
Okay. Noted.
The servant kind of comes over and looks to you three finally and goes, are you ready or do you need another moment?
To clarify, this is a group decision, correct?
Yes. This is, you have to decide as a group. You're being recognized as a group because individually you didn't stand out.
Yeah, I figured. So Donander looks more towards Ned just because obviously he knows Ned. Oh, we lost someone?
No, that was Wolf. He had to drop for something.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was anyone actively involved in the roleplay right now. Look at Ned and go, you and I seem to be on the same page. I think we should take the equivalent in goods and continue as we have been traveling until we know more about the political sphere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good either way. Money's always nice, but It's nice to be a free spirit, especially
I
in the worst case when, you know, you're close
mm,
to other world leaders.
mm-hmm. Aether, I don't want to say
No,
in a
go for
cocky
it.
way that there will be other chances, but I don't think this will be the only time we have an ability to perhaps get in vassalage. As long as we remain successful in our quests and make name for ourselves, opportunities will open themselves. And as I said, I have a connection to a world leader who's, other than some issues that came up due to the necromancers and such, a relatively stable kingdom. We will be good.
When
I just
Dom
like holds
says
up a hand. It's,
necromancers, Ned's eyes widen.
that's fine. I just like holds up a
Ned's eyes were.
Widen. This is the
Is that
first
when I
time
give
Ned
you
had
like?
seen Utham in this form, so he thinks Utham's a necromancer now.
Oh, trust me, this is the first time 99% of the world
Really?
has seen Uther in this form.
True. Yes. All right.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Ida just like holds up a hand and is like, no, you don't have to explain anything to me. This is the two of your rewards. And Kesmanok, but I don't know where the hell he is.
Looking about the area, you do see a shrouded like figure in one of the like nooks of the hallways, kind of watching everything, but still covered in what you recognize as similar robes almost immediately.
I just like make like a studious like attempt to not look in totally not Kesmanok's direction. So wherever he may be.
The servant kind of looks to you three and goes, "All right, Greg's on to you lot. So come on forward if you wouldn't mind. Slow walk as he likes to talk a lot."
I will walk at a very casual pace.
As the three of you start kind of walking out onto the main center aisleway now that's been kind of created, the carpet all laid out, you see as the Greg kind of stands up and goes, "And two, they don't have yet a name decided amongst their organization, though I am told we have Ned Grassentrees, Domnander Crotolus, something of the sort. I don't know. It's a giant's name. I apologize. I mean no offense. And their compatriot at this time, who is not listed, though is welcome amongst them, as he kind of ushers his hand towards the snow, or to the snowbeard walking alongside. He then kind of looks over towards where the Kesnuk's kind of hiding in the nook of the hallway and goes, "And their grand leader, who has chosen not to be named due to personal decisions at this time. Thus, the one recognized to accept this offer has been Ned Grassentrees for the service and welcomeness of their great exploits. We truly appreciate your actions. I wish to extend to you and your lot personally the option of vassalage with your own territories. In the north, you'd have a territory with blaze-tail griffins in it, metals yet undiscovered, and you'd be recognized to set up a port without any requirements of paying trade or tax on any trade for the foreseeable future until the town has become prosperous enough. The terms will be, of course, written out. If this does not interest you, though, I've offered to the others, would offer you equivalent goods. This would equate to roughly in the neighborhood of 2,000 to 3,000 platinum pieces. I do have a chest set aside for you lot. May I ask, what is your decision? Will you choose the equivalent value of a year's tax on the land, or will you choose to become my vassal?
We would like the equivalent value, and then would you be able to include the airship?
I will accept this for today. He kind of looks to one of his servants off to the side, snapping his fingers as they walk over and hand you a rather large, like 3 foot long, 2 foot deep, hefty wooden chest. Yeah, good.
Can we carry this, given the our weight, our encumbrance issues?
It is about in total roughly about 60 pounds worth of goods, not counting coin. The coin wouldn't be too heavy. So yeah, as Ned kind of grabs hold of it, Greg goes, I recognize and accept that you have chosen this day not to be my vassal. Let it be known to the other world leaders that you lot are still open for hiring and accepting of title when you visit them. They will be looking forward to your future, as will I, young ones. As he kind of bows, giving a curt nod to you lot, and giving a slight smile as he does so.
Donald will nod back respectfully. Like a bit of a, not a full bow, but
Ned excitedly just waves to the masses.
Yeah, as you do. And Ader, are you doing anything?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of making myself scarce, really. This isn't my moment, so I don't want to grandstand it by any means. I do the politeness portion of it, making sure I'm not offending anybody. I do try and make a clock, try to clock my friend Big Brain.
Okay.
Because he did offer some work, and I do want to go follow up on that offer. Especially considering the calorium.
Yeah, no. As you kind of clock him, you see a slight smile on his very moving, skinned face. No real teeth, but little black bits kind of moving about as the face kind of moves and expands in a very macabre fashion. Many of the world leaders kind of lightly golf clapping, some kind of shouting and laughing. You hear a couple of excited comments, some from Terracida specifically, one commenting and shouting that you lot have a bright future ahead of you. But as you head back down the stairs and kind of find yourselves to the back of the ceremony, you watch as the next party kind of goes up. As the servant from earlier, the butler, kind of comes over to you three and kind of stepping right into your view as Greg starts kind of talking about their honors. You lot have been welcomed by Utham and his faction for a moment. If you wish to go chat with them in the side parlor, Utham's got Yaki Roxer sitting out there apparently to watch and make sure everything goes well. If you're interested, I'm happy to sit you down with them, or if you're busy, I'm happy to let them know.
I am not busy. I would be glad to go and accompany them. He looks to the others to see what their answer is.
Suppose it'd be a snub at this point to try to do it otherwise. Could you do me a favor?
He nods.
The Big Brain. Could you acquire his method of communication? We have I met him briefly before the ceremony started. I'd like to continue our conversation later.
I will inform the Big Brain himself. As he kind of bows. Huh?
Yeah, just flashing the smile and say, many thanks.
As the servant kind of turns and looks to Ned to see if Ned's going to follow after Dom or not, or see if Ned says anything. Okay. As you watch as the servant kind of ushers you lot towards one of the side rooms, Kesnock kind of sitting, you find Kesnock sitting in this kind of rather open study. Few bookshelves set aside, a beautiful art piece of a gorgeous dragon depicted conquering a castle, freshly crafted out of what looks to be fine marble and a bit of adamantine kind of carved into it to highlight these scales and a bit of the armor. As the three of you are brought in, you see as Utham's kind of standing off to the side looking at a book. I imagine Utham knows exactly what I'm thinking here. So as he kind of as you lot are brought in, the servant kind of closes the door behind you and kind of disappears as you're left alone with him.
I will say, Utham, because he's reading, his eye patch is off. His eye's perfectly normal.
Nice.
Also, I don't know if I'm thinking what you're thinking, but I have things to talk to them about.
Yeah. Works.
As I'll welcome them
I'll
over.
take a seat.
Oh,
Take a big
Now
seat.
that-
Ned hesitantly sits down.
Kez
Now
is
that-
looking at all of you with a little bit of an irritation in his eye. Dom and Ned.
I haven't been invited to take a seat yet, and I don't know this world leader well enough to discuss.
I'm just gonna wave you to sit. Like, the frost giants are my children, as are the dwarves. The snowbeards, as it were.
I like think, but like sit down nonetheless. It's like interesting.
You've just been adopted. Congrats. No.
Dom kind of leaning over and whispering this in your ear, I imagine.
No,
That
no,
was
Dom,
not in
no,
char- that was
no, Dom's
completely out of character.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I was gonna say that was funny, but go ahead, sorry.
Now that you have your
They found me.
reward, and you've thought through, where do you wish to go next? What are you thinking?
Well, obviously, my loyalties lie with you, Reagan, and in our goals, current and any you might have. I have concerns about these necromancers and what they've done, both in your city and others. But I'm not fully certain. Having a member leave has thrown a bit of a wrench in things.
Utham will actually sigh at necromancers. It wasn't the necromancers that attacked my city.
Who was it?
I'm sure you saw the bounty poster. More.
Did I? Out of
Oh,
character?
You're the
It's benefit.
yeah. We saw the bounty poster after he tried to kill us.
Well, after he
Oh,
tried
that guy. I didn't
Specific.
realize he attacked Prim for his last hold.
he did-
Okay.
it was the city of Knighton.
Oh, right. And your land.
In one
Got
ritual,
it. Okay.
in one day, he ripped the magic out of every single citizen of Knighton.
Okay. I think in character Dominator would have known that. That was an out of character blunder because it's been a while.
No, that's fair.
Dominator was making a reference to the cult and stuff, but that too.
Now,
Mm.
I'm gonna look to the others and see if they say anything about where they're thinking about going next.
I don't really care where I go.
Like play with like the one of the like colorium coins, like balancing it across my knuckles and say, well, I made the acquaintances of the big brain, and he gave me these. Was hoping to try and talk the party perhaps into visiting some mercenary work their way.
Utham kind of, his smile dims. A little bit of a grimace at the mention of Seji. Seji is a bit bloodthirsty. Since someone else attacked the Toth, he's been looking for a new target. He, with minimal thought, declared he wanted both the first Papul and Greg's Marathon dead.
You see, one of the lands that Seiji controls. Surely those people need some form of protection from his bloodlust.
He has the largest army in the world, bar a couple.
The army doesn't help the citizens if he keeps dragging them into war.
Every citizen is the army.
Oh, Jesus. Or
Yes.
the equivalent.
No, I imagine it's sort of like it's just it's a random like comment, some random person. He's just calling back to a family name, like, man, it must be him. A curse.
Yes. Every role is trained as either a soldier, a healer, etc., etc. Yes. Well, the offer I was going to put out. Greg's been making portals. He made one to my new city. There's much work to be done. A lot to stabilize. I recently conquered the Cobalt lands. Far too much land for my own men to cover.
What do you need us to do?
Monsters to hunt, supply lines to secure, trade to do. There's quite a bit, depending on what you're interested in.
I would, of course, have no qualms and be honored to assist. Do my companions have any qualms with this?
As long as you don't try to cut my arms off and sew new ones on.
Gunnar snorts.
Not unless you
And
want me to.
Ned just like looks up and down at Utham again.
Not unless you want me to.
Well, the party obviously has more of a history with you than I do, and they seem more inclined to partake. I would like to state, though, that I think the eradication of the cult of necromancy is my highest priority.
You would die.
And
You would never make it.
I know.
Not at your level of ability.
Well, fortunately, they don't stand as an army.
Well, as Utham kind of rubs his beard. Well, that's not important.
And there is.
You
What's up, Dom? Yeah, good.
I know you Julia types tend to love your martyrs, but I agree with Reagan's wisdom to take out the cult, to remove them properly. We do need to get stronger. I've seen glimpses of what they're capable of, and I have a strong idea of the type of people they might have. I think it is wise for us to gather resources and strength.
I don't disagree with him with its principles.
Perhaps I should put this into perspective. The vast majority of world leaders are here in this nation, yes? Did you see a single person trying to leave the nation?
Sorry, did you say lead or leave?
Leave. Trying to flee. These necromancers have enough guts and something behind them to not run at the sight of so many powerful figures. What do you think they have behind them?
Secrecy. It's the biggest cloak.
I'll speak candidly. Someone who I believe is aligned with them had a strong enough backing that if I had so much as went to touch them, I would have been eradicated. I've been making moves to fix this, but that doesn't change the fact that at the time, I would have died a dog's death. I feel that should at least put some of it into perspective.
It does.
Kez kind of stays quiet through most of this. Yeah, go ahead, Dom.
I'm going to PM you a quick question just because it's been a second. I want to confirm something. So people can continue RPing.
Kesnanok seems to kind of stay quiet listening to this. The look of disappointment on his face is slightly that seems to show at the discussion of or the turning against the subject of hunting down the necromancers. Though you do notice Kez doesn't seem to speak against for or against the topic either way, seemingly keeping his mouth shut.
Now, that's not to say we can't move against them. But you all will need some equipment, as I look at their, well, not horrible, they're very bare bones gear most of them have. and a bit more training.
I won't deny
I'll
any of
gladly
that.
support your.
I'm sorry, I keep on interrupting. I don't mean to.
No, you're fine. I'll gladly
support.
support your efforts to hunt them. Just not now.
I give a nod and try and speak up. I feel compelled to try and use my talents to help, like I did earlier.
Would
I
it
can't-
make you feel better if I told you I'm going to have Yaki do the same thing you can do, but better to help?
Sure.
Excellent.
But,
Now,
Plus,
it'll perhaps also help that you were interested in metals, yes?
yes, I'm predominantly an adventurer to become a better craftsman.
I've opened trade with Greg's Maratom, who is now trading with the majority of other nations. If there's a metal you want, it'll easily flow into my lands.
Just kind of like nod. I also wish to try and make acquaintance with the Great Furnace.
That would be a bit more difficult.
I imagined so.
You'd have to get through it.
As he says Endrick's name, you recall for a moment when the man that was introduced as King Endrick, a very old-looking storm giant that was kind of a bit shorter than the others of like Frost and Fire as well as the Cloud. A little bit old, a little bit more decrepit looking, but still quite strong looking. Enough so that they look to be capable. They seem to be sitting with the fire giants and the cloud giants, as well as the fiends, from what you could tell when they had earlier been gathered.
When Utham says Endrick, he has a scowl. And knowing he can kind of talk freely in here, he kind of says, soldering oath, thinks he's better than everyone.
In the distance, Yaki can hear in the mind of Endrick a sneeze, as well as the "You bet I am."
Meanwhile, in Yaki's mind, that's a child.
Right. But as you kind of having this conversation, Kez kind of looks over to you and goes, Eider's not wrong on the effect of hunting down the necromancers. They said they've been in multiple towns. If they're not just here, given the correlation that we know that there's something with them and the that smiling individual, we don't have to go after him, but we could go after what supports him. The pillars, if you will, that builds up from his groundwork. The things that wouldn't be as dangerous, but would still make him more exposed. Wouldn't hurt.
Not to mention, if there's a cult attempting to take over and invade many lands, I would say, if I were to be smart, one of the first places I would go to is a new established town. Something, not a lot of resources, not a lot of guards, not a lot of hold, people who can be killed or swayed in their favor. I think going to a new establishing city to help defend it might be the best action we could take. One this deeply established is going to have deeper roots with the cult, ones we can't weed out yet.
Kez kind of looks at you and goes, actually, that's... If we go... He looks up to Utham and goes, did that territory that the kobolds recently lost, there's no one in charge of it yet, right?
A mayor was recently appointed, but he's not, he hasn't truly started his term yet. Why?
If I was going to attack Utham with what would be necromancy and undead, it'd be the perfect place to stage, because it's so far away, he can't really do anything, and it's a right population that already doesn't like him. More likely to be able to get sacrifices, bring people into the underground. It'd be a great place to start a bigger cult following without a world leader ever figuring it out.
You'd sadly be correct. It's not that I didn't suspect it, but as I said earlier, I don't have the men to move. I already have 3 cities and a vast land to defend.
Kez kind of looks towards Eider and then Dominander and then Ned in turn and goes, I'm not saying we should go leave these lands and abandon them given the current circumstances, but it might not be a bad idea to consider going after a population that might be more likely to have these necromancers showing up. We might be able to find out who the recruiters are and track that further to find who gives the orders. If they're already established here, given the black market we know that exists, there's not much we can do. We could go hunting in the streets, and I don't think it would hurt, but I think we'd have to rely a lot more on the calling for the guards after we found the information. We wouldn't be able to physically stop them.
So we gave up the vassalage, so I
Place
imagine...
run. What?
Kesnok nods at Eider.
I will put...
Oh.
Go ahead. Yeah. Just go ahead.
Greg's Maritum is far smarter than he likes to act at times. If anyone's going to get rid of those necromancers, well, anything that inhibits trade won't live long.
Plus, any establishing
Look, he started a
city
war
run by
because someone broke
Utham.
the toy boat.
Hush you. You weren't told you could speak. Quiet in the background. Goddamn peanut gallery. Yeah, I was gonna say goddamn peanut gallery over here, maddening voices in his heads. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I'll just look at Baker and go, what was I even going to say briefly? I just had a total brain fart. Shoot.
I think it had to do with the vassalage, because I brought it up, like...
Oh, yeah, right, thank you so much. Long day. Any lands of Utham's we're told to help establish, we will have Utham's blessing, which means in those lands, whatever business we need to do to get shit done, we won't have to deal with guards and all the legalities that places, especially trade-heavy places, have.
Kez kind of gives a long stare at this comment, remembering the guards that arrested him at the beginning of showing up in the city.
Yeah, Donander gives Kez like an understanding type look.
There's just a long yard stare going on right now. Yeah, go ahead.
Those were the most peaceful moments he had in the city.
It's true. Also, he might be called a woman in a kobold city, because he's not going to be attractive to kobolds, hopefully.
Actually,
that's the whole reason Kez wants to go.
Utham's gonna grab his wrapped up scythe on his back because the Snowbeard said he was interested in craft, and he's gonna hand it to the Snowbeard, and then he realizes he's way too small. This is a size huge weapon.
Dude. Hey, now I can move fully with it. I am a dwarf.
Hey, you got the balls? He'll hand it to you to look at it.
Booyah. I can't wield it, but I can pick it up.
If you're interested
he is using all his might.
We've discovered a new kind of craft. Well, I've discovered a new kind of craft that's quite interesting, to say the least.
Do you want to describe your scythe?
Oh, dude. Well, first, do you unwrap it?
Even though I know it's hideously evil.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say your detect evil is going off on this thing.
Yeah, I have it politely turned off so I don't just sit there in a fucking stupefied haze.
I want to put out, technically, the item is not sentient. It does not have...
No, but the spiritual thing to it is something that can be sensed, because that's been Kez caught it when he used his detect evil on it. No, detect undead. He was looking at undead. That's right.
He didn't do that either. He rolled religion.
Was it religion? Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, because he was checking if it was necromancy, and he misunderstood.
Oh, that's right.
Actually, if it's just bloodthirsty, that can totally just be chaos. That doesn't necessarily mean it's evil.
No, well, there's a reason. So this item, as you unwrap it, is made from gloom parts, like the CR26 creature.
Yeah.
Made out of people.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Utham. Yeah, feel free.
So it's a long wooden handle with bits of what looks like, but doesn't fully feel like flesh, worked into it, and like bits of silver holding everything together. The blade is dripping a green liquid. When your hand goes over it, it goes right through it. It's clearly an illusion. And most of it's made of a skeletal bone. This is a +6 weapon.
Yeah, that'll do it.
But as you look at the pieces, it doesn't take much to realize, given the gloom. Have a leader in the other room, sitting down. The head shape being very unique.
They know I have. They started the fight after all.
Utham, I made a weapon too, and I hold up my very horribly made Arctic Main Tooth shank.
Oh no!
Yeah, I forgot
it's just
you
the
made
pouch that held my ball bearing wrapped around this tooth.
Yeah, I forgot you made that last session.
Oh, I added it to my sheet so that I could actively use it.
Your 1d2 dagger, I think it was. Yeah.
1d2 plus a d2 of cold.
Yep, that because.
Utham has a +34 to weaponsmithing.
This is like a kid. This is a kid just showed you his kindergarten art project.
He is not showing it, but he's horrified as he looks at this item.
Can Dumbnunder tell, knowing Utham?
Give me a sense motive. Let's see if you can. If you want Utham, give me a bluff if you to try and hide it.
Oh, you know I'm good at bluff.
I'm not. Dumbnunder's just trying to see if like Utham's annoyed by this, or if he's just like tired acceptance.
All right.
Sure. I'll do a sense motive. You said.
Yeah.
I think Dumbnunder's distracted. I rolled really low again, so it's only like an 11.
Okay. As you try or kind of looking at Utham as he continues to talk, first you try. There seems to be something for a moment, but the slight twitch, also with the many altercations to Utham's body since the last time you saw him. For all you can tell, it could be just his body's way of moving now and acting, given the many little bits and pieces that are clearly foreign to a frost giant's body.
Utham will look at it like he's acting like he's appraising it. As he holds it, looks it over. Have you crafted before?
First time.
Utham's thoughts are, that explains a lot. Would you like a proper dagger made by a master craftsman if you head over?
As long as it's all natural, I don't really prefer to use metals and such.
We can do non-metal. We can do non-metal.
Are metals not of the earth? When Dumbnunner kind of looks over at Ned.
Oh no, not this argument again.
Yeah. It's not an aggressive question, it's just like a genuine question.
Not by druid law.
I'm gonna hand the dagger. Well, technically, metal druids are a thing. As Utham hands the little It hurts for Ethan to even call it a dagger as he hands it back.
The shank, as we've been referring to it as.
I literally have it saved as a makeshift Arctic Main Tooth shiv.
Yeah, it's a prison shank, or a prison shiv, basically. He's made... I feel bad because Eider's also seeing this as a craftsman. This can't make you feel good seeing this poor item and the poor craftsmanship of it.
And the pride on Ned's face.
Yeah. Well, no. Ironically, Eider does give him a big smile because Ed made a genuine effort.
Yeah, he tried
at it, but he's made an effort. He's done something with his hands, and by God, it worked. It's not perfect, but just the attention to detail. He's done the best that he can. It's hard to be upset or disgusted with that from Eider's point of view.
No, that's fair.
What
That's
about
fair.
Domnonder's weapon crafting? He grew his own hands.
Oh yeah.
He's got all fingers.
Eider hasn't
all
had
fingers.
Dom Nander described yet to him. I wanted to wait till you got here to
Oh.
really give a proper description because I didn't think I could do it justice. So if you would like to describe what Dom Nander does properly look
Yeah.
like.
Let me see if I have the image saved on my laptop still, so I could send the Hero Forge in. If not, I would just have to re-download it real quick.
The group is
Where's
very
my-
big on Hero Forge for character building, for your reference. But as
Yes.
Dom kind of goes to look at this, yeah, do you want to roll 23 spellcraft at least? I rolled not great. That's not bad. As you roll, so what are you trying to figure out exactly about the item?
I mean, part of it's how the magic is entwined with the actual item itself, and then the bit is to divine, what exactly is the magic. Is it just that it is intensely well made, or is there like an auxiliary enchant?
Okay.
Didn't we? It's not magical, I believe, from what we agreed upon, technically.
I'm pulling it up. I gotta find what the thing's called. If you have the name of the item, I can grab it.
The blade of the blade of sacrifice.
Oh, it's funny. I just clicked that, so I was right. Always trust your DM instincts, people. So the blade itself is, So as you look it over, at first you realize this item with the 23 is what has been specially made. There's a magic in this that you recognize is similar to your own concept of soul melding, as you know it. But seems to be in a more permanent state, as if someone managed to take the powers of the monster itself and push it into an item that they crafted from it, and keeping its in a sense its essence and its abilities to the item as a permanent effect. You would also recognize that this item is a caster level 15 to make it, and does take master weaponsmithing, or an equivalent body modification for class or skill.
Now here's the dangerous thing.
Mm-hmm.
I try and push Essentia into it since it seems to be similar.
As you do so, I will say, I would imagine Utham sensing a similar concept to how he smiths and how he makes items. Suddenly, the similar magic being forced into the item would probably pull the item from you, given the concern of this item potentially either overloading or losing its abilities.
I'm more concerned about overload because this creature, I think I specifically picked the gloom that hated me the most out of the ones I killed.
You did. Especially as you're reading on the side, it does read, by the way, kin for kin, soul for soul on the along the blade.
Hell yeah, it does.
As it pulls it away, please don't. If something happened to the weapon, well, I'd be fine. All of you might die.
Sorry, it just seemed receptive, so I wanted to see what would happen.
Dom, I'm gonna give you now a moment. Do you have your thing set up?
Yeah, I'm getting the picture. I have to retake a screenshot because I guess mine got deleted. But I'm downloading that right now. In the meantime, I can.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I might have it fully downloaded, but I'll still give a verbal spoke. So obviously, he is a fire giant. He's got like a darker, muted red skin. He's 16'9". You would notice, especially compared to a lot of other giants, despite being on the taller end for fire giants, he's rather skinny and lithe. He's not really bulky or big. He's wearing he's lost a few layers being in a warmer climate, but more winter type clothes with fur linings. He's got parts that are metallic golds and coppers and bronzes that almost look something akin to almost like a scale type motif, but no armor. He lacks any armor, lacks any weapons. He's got his hands loosely, well, not loosely, but like well wrapped, but in nothing other than just like clothing attire. He's got, here, I will see if the screenshot will send. but he's got these eyes that are. It's hard to see in the hero forge, but they're red, like a dark, fiery red with like golden flakes through them, and he's got this almost like dark, almost face paint thing around his eyes. His hair is longer, but it's up, so it's like out of the way and neat. And he doesn't look like nobility, but he looks well kept. Like he's obviously used to. I don't know why it's skewed to the side so far. Used to being around it. And in general, just very unassuming. But you would know being in his field that to be this unarmed means clearly he has experience fighting unarmed, because a mercenary who chooses to go without a weapon and cannot suffice is just a dead man. Yeah, not a very physically expressive person from what you've gathered. Seems to be on a calmer disposition, and yeah.
But as the two of you kind of look, the blade, as Utham kind of resheathes the blade, the butler kind of comes in and opening the door and goes, excuse me, the feast has been called. Now that the last of the individuals being recognized have been called forth, Greg has called for a toast if you all are willing or interested.
Utham will nod.
Was there anything?
I do
Nothing.
like toast.
I'm sorry, sir. I mean, like, as in he will be serving alcohol and giving a speech to everyone.
Oh. Well, alcohol's good.
The irritation in the butler's eyes is not well hidden.
Was there anything else we needed to cover, Reagan, or are we good to speak about this later?
It can be later. Easily.
Don't nod their nods, and
Yeah.
As you head out towards the main area, as more tables are being set, drinks are being poured, you lot are welcomed over by Og Brightwing and Uthgarum, as well as Yaki Roxer, who's kind of going over and explaining a few things, it looks like, to Og Brightwing as the two are talking. A few of the other factions have kind of split aside, as Greg kind of sits ahead of a table that's been brought to his throne, raising a golden glass of what it looks to be some sort of red liquid. He kind of smiles towards you all and goes, as the glasses are handed out, each of you has done so much in your lifetimes. We will achieve a far grander future, I believe, between all of our cooperation over the next few years. So with that in mind, I'd like to raise an honor to those who have sacrificed their lives for the peace we now achieve and for the peace that we will now secure. Although, as he finishes this and people start to kind of slightly clap and making noises a little with as they go to drink, Seji comments up and goes, 5 years that you earned and managed to kill for, as he tosses his glass and walks out of the feast.
oh,
You see Greg doesn't seem to even drop a beat as he turns and goes, and with that, a grand ovation as the world leaders make their understandings known and respect their views. I thank you all and enjoy your drinks. Feel free to mingle amongst yourselves. The band will, as he kind of snaps his fingers, and you start to hear a light music kind of start to play, as a organ starts to kind of lightly serenade the crowd. Greg kind of starts to step up and goes to mingle amongst a few others, leaving you lot at your table to kind of drink.
I think I finally take the opportunity to look in the bag that Greg threw me.
As you look in, how deep are you willing to put your hand in?
I'm probably gonna look at it first because I don't know if he just handed me a bag of teeth.
No, as you take a look at this bag, it's a leather sack that seems to have a simple design of a golden coin on the side of it, kind of sewn into it, and the words Greg's Marathon Golden Trading Company written below it.
Like, I guess not seeing anything like odd in it, I shove my hand in it and see if there's anything in it.
As you shove your hand in, you pull out, or rather, you feel your hand kind of digging around, coins upon coins. You watch as at first Eider kind of shoves there, expecting kind of only to get to the wrist, as this isn't a very long bag. This is quite a small part, almost pocket pouch here. As Eider first shoves to their wrist and feeling that there's more coins, kind of shoves to the elbow and then finds almost all the way up to the shoulder, as you're still finding no bottom, as there are just coins in this bag.
I just kind of shell shocked, start pulling my hand out of the bag and just slowly put it inside of my armor.
Do we see this?
Yeah? Oh yeah.
Dawn Hunter looks like not super shocked, but there's a bit of an eyebrow raise, like a bit of a what is happening here? And it's watching you go elbow to shoulder. Mind you, your arms aren't the longest, but it's still rather impressive, given the bag doesn't seem to be especially large.
Ned sticks his hand in his coin bag and is disappointed when he feels the bottom.
That's still a pretty big coin bag for a giant. But yeah, as you kind of sit around, the other world leaders kind of seem to be talking amongst themselves, getting up and leaving you lot to kind of sit at the table you are, as they begin kind of expanding and socializing amongst the crowd. One of the servants comes over and and stands in front of you, all three or all four of you, as Kesnok kind of finds himself slightly kind of trying to not be seen and doing everything he can to kind of duck behind Ned whenever someone passes by. But the servant, as they come over and looks to you lot and goes, Greg's Marathon would like to let you all know that your airship has already been set for you. There is outside by the mercenary quarters, about 1 mile to 2 miles south, roughly. You'll find many of them parked at the airship ports that have been set up. There'll be one that's small with a bit of blue in its sail. It's hard to miss, but we'll have a representative there waiting for you if you're for when you're ready. Greg's Martum has also requested that you not stay too much longer, as the world leaders plan to retire here shortly to discuss matters that are of great world significance.
But we should, I guess I should just say this in character. He'll look over to his party mates and go, we should very quickly speak to Reagan Newsom in regards to the portal and make our way through, I'd imagine. Unless you all had some other business to attend to before we leave.
If it's not too long, we got an airship. Might as well take it.
Well, I did need to wrap up the issues with Seiji. I don't like the idea of just having wanted to have a conversation and then leaving whenever they're a bloodthirsty world leader. But
that seems wise. DM, out of character, how long of a travel would it be from airship to get back to? Well, not even to the Frost Island, just to the Kobold lands.
Just by airship?
Yeah, just by airship. How long would it be?
You're looking at roughly around,
I imagine a while.
9-10 months.
Yeah, so to Ned's statement of just take an airship, Thunder looks and goes, that would... No, I don't think the ships go as fast as you think. It would be several months. I don't think Utham would have a need for us to head to the town. We should probably see about taking the ship through the portal. if able,
Kaznanok looks at you and goes,
or having it sent there.
"If not, I'll fly it."
That's true. It would not be great to have the party separated, but it would ensure it got to us.
That's the biggest thing for me. I mean, we got paid less to take the airship, so I don't want to leave it behind.
The servant kind of looks to the three of you and kind of looks to Ida for a moment and goes, "Oh, and I do have something I was given to hand you. This is the information. Seji did mention that he would be willing to meet with you. However, given the current circumstances, he has left the city."
I just kind of like breathe like a sigh of relief and say, "Well, thank you very much."
Servant kind of nods, not really picking up on it, and kind of turns to leave, leaving you lot to discuss amongst yourselves.
Bullet dodged.
Well, I would. I would go look for Utham if he's not in deep conversation to work out the semantics of travel, and then.
Yeah.
I don't think Down Under has anything especially. I mean, he might listen to gossip as he's walking to find Utham. I do a listen check or whatever to see if I can pick up any bits and pieces of maybe more hushed conversation. But I'm not going to linger.
Give me a listen check, and then as you walk over towards Utham, who is currently talking to Terracitus, yes, to the Ned's question, the same, in fact, Terracitus, though much younger looking. And more magically inclined.
The wizard in this stage.
For those at home who don't know that, go watch last Sunday's campaign.
Am I talking to Terra?
In the Age of Monsters. As the two of you did, it was just casual conversation, as that was exactly what the world leader told me was that they wanted happening. Weather, travel, annoyances, stuff like that, as I was told.
I got a 23 listen check as I'm moving through.
As you're walking through, you hear as Himon and Sunna are kind of talking in hushed tones at a table. Something kind of catches your ear as Himon goes, "If King Torges is right, then we should see Utham dead within the week. Already, Torges has done what he needed to do, and the first pet pool took the blame for everything." And Sunna just kind of shakes his head and goes, "I still don't think it's right to kill my brother, but, I mean, at this point, it's better than dealing with him when Felthorn goes down." As the hush tones kind of go over. Oh. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I roll... I know I do this a lot, but immediate sense motive, just because Donander wants to confirm if they seem to be speaking genuinely or if they're
trying to be heard.
They have noticed, trying to be heard and trying to rile someone who's tied to Utham up to get him, trying to get Dom to do something stupid and cause a scene. Because Donander's not stupid. This is a room full of the world's most powerful people who definitely can hear and see way better than he. So he just wants to confirm that he's just listening in, and this isn't a baited conversation.
Gotcha, yeah.
All right. My good old sense motive. Okay. All right. That'll be a... Let me find sense motive.
I believe it's wisdom based.
Another 23.
23!
Yeah, sorry. I just had to scroll
you're
a while.
A lot of skills in 3.5. As you look through, listening in on them, it takes a minute for you to kind of realize this, but as they seem to kind of be glancing over towards Utham as he's kind of talking in casual conversation, laughing, and having a simple drink with the group around the table. You notice that they seem to be giving or him and himself seem to be glaring at Utham directly, like staring straight at him. Sana does not seem to have looked over in your direction, does not seem to have noticed you, from what you can tell. This seems to be a genuine conversation, as their hushed tones seem to kind of get quieter anytime someone walks close by.
So Donander catches this, glances over at them, because I imagine he wouldn't be looking at the people he's listening to, glances over to catch their attention's diverted, and that this seems to be genuine, lets his eyes immediately drift, so it looks as though he's scanning and not obviously staring, sees Utham, and will wander over to just get it opening the conversation and go, Megan Utham, I hate to interrupt important business, but we need to discuss the mission and plans to travel as soon as possible. The party has been asked to leave the world leaders to their business. Is there, I do have to ask, Jessica, because I don't know if we discussed, would there be a hand code that would have, or some kind of keyword and gyro something that would have been established between us for Dominator to be like, there's important shit, we need to talk in secret, or no?
The most secure language technically among war leaders that you could have taught you would be primitive, because you don't have to speak.
It's body language, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of body language.
I don't have it on my sheet, so I'm not sure if I would be allowed, Bryce?
What, primitive?
To know a word or two? Yeah.
I mean, as far as it goes, I thought you had primitive.
I don't. No, I could have just gotten it done wrong. I just have common and giant.
Oh,
but
I just
might have
noted what they're, because the plans have already been set. So what are they?
As Terrasize just kind of looks at you, kind of ushering you to go take care of your business, kind of letting you step away. What's your question again?
Can I just sense motive, see what's up? Because we've kind of already.
Yeah, give me a sense motive.
21.
It's pretty clear that Dom seems kind of shook by the situation. Although Ned and Eider haven't seemingly picked up on the situation at all, Dom seems to kind of not nervously and purposefully be doing it, but they keep seemingly kind of having a slight bit of turning their head just enough to be able to catch the two of giants talking to each other in their side vision.
Yeah, I imagine he's doing that thing where he's subconsciously scanning in his peripherals for threats, and I'm sure Utham would, notice.
So they're glancing at the two.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna give a nod over to Yaki and a little head twitch towards those two.
I'm going to read some minds. Surface thoughts first.
Neither can have their surface thoughts read currently.
Oh, they resisting. Yaki would give the signal of resistance. And then Dell.
I will mention, at the same point, with that Yaki Roxer, I need you to make a reflex save. I said, the party's about to watch a potential brawl.
Nat 20,
as you're kind of sitting at a table and enjoying a bit of a nice cooked piece of meat. I mean, it's a fine meal, some wine that's been set aside. I mean, Greg is no snob. And as you're kind of looking over, trying to delve into the individual's mind, you suddenly notice as one of the golden knives from about across the room comes flying and lands in the middle of your piece of meat, just about an inch from your finger, or where your hands were as you were getting ready to cut another piece off. As you see suddenly the king of House Closen himself kind of stand, Torges, as he comes walking over towards your table, Yaki. And kind of sits down.
I will also stand and walk over. I'll give Dom a nod, like I know what's going on, and I'll walk over.
Okay.
The three of them seem to kind of go sit and start talking in hushed whispers. There looks to be some annoyed, a bit of an annoyed conversation, but otherwise seems to be very civil. Dom, Eider, and Ned, as you stand now, what are you doing?
I think it might be time to leave.
I agree. Uh, I guess if Utham is preoccupied, that Dunmunder on their way out would look for a servant to ask about it.
Yeah.
Preferably the servant that told them about the airship, if possible.
Yeah, as you kind of manage to get the glance, they seem to come walking over, and as they notice you looking a little bit like you have a question, kind of smile and go, "May I be of some service?"
We are on our way out. Reagan Newsom is preoccupied with important business. We need to make use of one of the king's portals to get to Reagan's lands.
Oh,
Preferably, if possible, to take the airship with us, or if not, have it sent to us.
King, yes, he kind of, you see a little bit of a glaze in his eyes for a moment as you see him kind of rubbing his temple, and he kind of stops and goes, yeah, King Greg's Maritime has already, set aside, there's already a portal in the Kobold lands. You should be able to take, your airship right through.
Can I don't know if this is too out of character, or me overreading, or if this is a
No, you're good. Go ahead.
good catch. Was this man anywhere near us where he should have known we were going to the Kobold lands? Because I don't think we mentioned where we were going outside of the room with just us and Utham.
I'll say that you did not see him at all walking about, but you can give me a sense motive to see if this individual seems like they know something, or if they're...
I love my sense motives.
By the end of this, Dom's goal is going to be have proficiency only in sense motive.
Evil? Yeah, I'm gonna be like...
Most cautious monk.
Well, you have been asked. Is he evil?
Yeah.
Oh!
He can't just tell you if he's evil.
Is he evil? As you take a minute to look at the individual, the body is not, but they are giving off. There's something about them that's giving off evil.
Where is I'm missing the die I'm looking for this important role.
There's just, as Dom's looking through, like, for something, thinking for a second on looking this individual up and down, Ider's over here. Just type roll 1d20.
I can't sense motive, the roll isn't right. Okay, I'll do my second luckiest dice. I can't find the first one.
As a DM, you don't get lucky dice. They're all they always fail you.
Only a 16. I wish I had found the good die.
As you look at them for a moment, you don't recall them being anywhere near you when you said this. In the slightest, in fact. They seem to be kind of, last time you saw them, kind of heading towards the kitchens and didn't seem to come back out the entire time you've been walking out here, so thinking on it. As you look at them, there's definitely some sort of ill intent coming off from them, as they look to be almost in a slight daze with their eyes kind of milked over slightly.
I notice if my party members sense something off?
Ider definitely straightens up, I think.
Yeah, Ider's straightening up a little bit more. Ned looks to be, I assume, relaxed as always.
Oh yeah.
If Ned was any more relaxed, he'd be fucking horizontal.
It's true.
He would be so chill and at one with the universe, he would cease to exist.
Remember, he's got the Anvil's quarterstaff, so most dangerous party member currently on the group.
I try and give an eye to Dom and say, Dom, you happen to be hungry, and we could stop perhaps on the kitchens on the way out. Would you be amenable to showing us the way?
I completely forgot we were supposed to ignore my previous statement. We completely blanked my mind with the ceremony. We need to see to the kitchens and a few more errands. Do have the airship ready. We will be setting out soon. Immediately catches on to what Ader's doing and is fucking rolling with it. And I'll roll
Well,
Bluff
I was trying to get him to come with me.
I was gonna say the servant's kind of now looking between the both of you. One of you just said to come with you, and the other just said, "Yeah, basically fuck off." And now they're looking like, So
Listen,
to clarify, do you want me to come along with you and guide you towards the kitchens, or do you understand how to find your way to the kitchen?
I prefer it. Dom, do you have a preference?
you know what? I'm thinking about it. I thought I knew the way to the kitchens. I think I was actually thinking of the these buildings are so much more complicated than giant ones. Do lead us.
Give me a bluff.
Yeah, 100%. I will give you a bluff, and I've found my lucky die. I think I catch on to what you're actually trying to do, and I just don't think I caught on to that out of character until now, so I do apologize. But
good.
now I know what's fucking up. That. My lucky die did not give me a lucky roll. Oh boy. Not. I mean, atrocious. If the character, if this person's hypnotized, not bad. Otherwise bad. Only an 8. Total. Did not get a good die.
The guard kind of takes, or the servant kind of looks at you and goes, "Oh, sure. Yeah, I can show you. I understand. My cousin's also quite slow. It's fully understandable. I'm happy to show you around. These dragon territories can be quite difficult for giants. Giants, being not the brightest lot in the bunch. No problem." As he kind of turns and starts walking down the long towards the hallway that you had originally kind of been guided towards, where the side rooms were set up. Yeah, as you pass by Utham's table. Utham, what are you trying to do? Because you keep messaging me you're about to do something. So what's the plan here? He really wants to kill this thing for you. I see. Go ahead.
Kill? No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
How many hit
Is
dice
they
do you have?
looking worried?
Yaki, what did I tell you? Go back. Listen. We had a ruling here. Come on now. Thank you. Utham. How many hit die you said?
Yep.
2.
He falls asleep.
As you're kind of walking down or past the table, you watch as the servant, seemingly kind of unaware of the situation, just drops to the ground like a sack of potatoes right in front of you three.
Oh, well, that was much easier. Quick, search him.
I love this spell.
Search him.
As you start kind of going to search him, 2 of the guards kind of look at you lot and go,
No, I wouldn't. Well, the guards are there. I wouldn't.
I will. I absolutely will.
Yeah, go ahead, give me a search check.
It seems he needs medical attention. I'm a professional.
Quick, Aether, sir, this man does not need any medical attention. You know how to heal people, right? Tend to him. And Donander can make a diplomacy check if needed, but he's trying to be like, you're a doctor? Help this man.
It's a 13 on a search check.
Check for a pulse.
And are you searching for anything in particular, or are you just like looking throughout the individual?
I want to. I've got my detect evil on. I want to look specifically if he's got something on him that is radiating this specific evil, or if it's just like a possession.
As you kind of following the focus. Let's say what's your casting set for me? Is it charisma or is it wisdom?
It's technically wisdom.
It's wisdom. Give me a wisdom check here, just to see how easy this comes to you.
10.
10. Okay. As you kind of following in, searching about, you watch as at first Einar goes towards the neck, looking for a necklace, kind of pulling a little bit at the bow tie that the individual's kind of wearing, pulling it apart and kind of pulling a bit of the buttons, looking like he's about to pound on their chest. You find what looks to be a small chain burn around the individual's neck. No chain, but as you kind of start to unbutton the vest a little bit, you find a single black pearl at the center of their chest that slightly seems to have burned into their flesh a bit.
That's very, very similar to another thing. Would a spellcraft perhaps be in order for
Uh,
reasons?
yeah, go ahead. What are you trying to gain from this here?
Is this guy just dead?
All right. That could be a heal check, but I'll take a craft check if you want to take a look at the orb as you see the little burn marks around it, to see if it's fully killed the individual.
Well, it's spellcraft because of the
Spellcraft.
material components from Animate Dead.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. Go ahead and use spell. Let's do a spellcraft check.
24.
24. This looks to be a high-end version of an Animate Dead. You'd guesstimate around fifth level spell version of it.
Oh shit.
Oh, he been
What
dead.
spell?
Animate Dead.
Oh.
Animate Dead, yeah.
I like turn. Fuck. Is Greg still in the room?
Oh yeah, he's mingling amongst the crowd.
I will do my best to like get his attention. Like I've gestured. I guess Uthin is like the closest one actually. I like think about trying to get his attention. Turn to Uthin after like I think for a moment and is like that's not going to go over well at all. And say, this guy's undead.
Oh.
You see Torges just kind of looks at Utham and then looks over and goes,
Yeah, he's slowly pulling out his spellbook.
I have to take Utham's personality into this. I slam my fist into the table to get everyone's attention.
Roll, let's say a strength check.
I'll say my hand is made of rocks.
About to crack this fucking table.
Dude's like pieces of everything. If there's a creature out there, I guarantee he's got a piece of it in him.
Don't worry about it. That's a 21.
The table, as you listen, or as Utham kind of stands up, slamming his hand into the table, the heavy stone in his hand kind of cracking the table almost clean in half, and the room goes dead silent as the glass kind of goes colliding to the ground. Everyone goes silent completely as Greg kind of walks over.
I look at Greg, and I pick up the body, because it's very small compared to Utham. And I'm going to set the person on the table and just motion to them. You let an undead make their way into a meeting of world leaders?
Greg will walk over towards the body, looking it up and down, and as he kind of looks up and goes, I can't even tell what spell this is. I couldn't tell you for a fact of what this thing is and how it got in here. But, I mean, I let the first Papool in, so in theory it could be him, it could be Seji, given what he just threw out. Shoot, for all I know, it could be Zurit, and Mavasi's lying about killing him.
With the spell check, how old is the residual magic on that thing?
From what you can tell, roughly about 2 to 3 months, maybe at this point.
It's old enough that it doesn't have a residual one because it doesn't last nearly that long.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. I just like pipe up. Unfortunately, unasked, but he's been this way for several months, at least.
It's even worse.
Tells you I'm not responsible. I haven't been in my city for months.
Are there any other groups of guards?
The guards themselves seem to be kind of not grouping together, still standing at their post, but many of them kind of seem to be looking amongst themselves and kind of eyeing each other to see if anybody's moving or doing anything. The very hefty suspicion seems to kind of be expanding.
Well, it's magic. I'll go ahead and cast a spell, Magic Greater, on a couple of them, see what happens.
Okay. As you do, you watch as some of the armors kind of break and kind of fall off, but otherwise, no corpses seem to drop, no one seems to fall over or anything. Besides the magic items themselves, seemingly losing their magic power.
Magic items don't lose their power.
I spoke for that for a reason.
Yaki would
I
be
see the
opening up his
burn.
spellbook and flipping through it to see if there's any spells that match this, given what his spellbook can do.
Looking through it, give me a knowledge arcana roll.
I see the burner on his neck, right? The very obvious, like, chain burn.
Yeah.
Utham will speak up. Well, it's an easy check to see if there's more. As will point out the call mark.
53.
You have never seen this spell, and it does not pull up in the grimoire.
Must have been made very recently. It's not in my tome.
Greg kind of looks over towards Eider. Eider, give me a will save.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Is he casting a spell?
Everyone's reading your mind today.
I guess. Fuck.
I haven't. Maybe I should. I also detect thoughts.
I would never read your mind.
This is not. This ain't detect thoughts. I promise you.
I'll say I want to be part of the fun, not being left out.
The fact
Genuine.
that detect thoughts makes me worried.
Genuinely though, is it a spell or spell-like ability? Just
it is a spell.
Okay. I've got options. Is it quickened? Because I can technically spellcraft.
It is not.
Can I do a quick old spellcraft to identify it as he's casting it?
I will say go ahead. But you don't. I will note you don't see his hands moving. He does not speak at all, and nothing seems to be glowing about him. But yeah, go ahead.
Then I couldn't do spellcraft because if it doesn't have somatic or verbal components.
I had a feeling that is what you were looking for. Yep. So.
Yeah. Because I was just like, I didn't want to scab you on it. It was like,
no, you're good. Yeah. You can still try for it if you'd like to see if you can pick up anything from it.
I'd like to because I want to know whether or not I want to resort to last resort or not.
Okay.
Because I don't know what the hell he's casting. It's a 22.
While the spell doesn't seem familiar, what you pick up is it's divine in nature and seems to be a charm of some sort. Though it's hard to tell if charm is the exact wording you'd put to it. It could be mind affecting as well, as the spell seems to start to flash from his eyes. Is there anything else you'd like to try and do for it?
I would like to do the. I like clock. It's a charm spell. I'm like, oh hell no.
All right. Now making sure I understand because there are classes that specifically outright do that. To make sure I'm understanding translation right. Okay. Yep. As the spell kind of envelops for a moment, a light pink glow seems to almost kind of wrap around Eider. It seems to almost suck into his body naturally as it does so, dissipating.
What happened? I want to know.
I don't think there's technically a save or anything for it, right? It just happens if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, it just happens. There's no save. Yeah, so as the thing goes off, you see the individual kind of looks, or Greg kind of looks at you for a moment, and then as this as he seems to notice something's off, he looks back over to Utham and goes, "This one's immune to charm spells and magic of my own capability of making."
So am I. What's your point?
He's a low-ranking mercenary. You're not telling me that's more suspicious than anything else?
Don't turn this away from you.
Yaki will start reading Eider's mind again.
Yeah!
No!
You're gonna read Eider's mind? I was gonna say, I thought you were about to say you're gonna read Greg's mind. I'm like, I can't wait to see how that goes given my, immunities here. Let's see what you want to try on me here. Let's find out. But, alright, yeah, you're gonna delve into Eider's mind once more. His surface thoughts, I mean, Eider, what are your surface thoughts right now?
Oh shit, oh fuck, oh jeez, oh fuck, oh shit, oh shit.
Do you delve deeper than that, Yaki?
It's like Yaki's own
Yaki's
fault.
gonna look to Greg and go, I don't think he's done anything. And by looking at Greg, I'm getting his thoughts. Because Yaki did not turn it off.
You cannot read his mind.
The Anvil will say he has no illusions on him. He is a child. He does not possess much, but it is interesting what he did. I don't does the anvil know what he did?
None of you don't recognize this ability at all. This is a completely foreign concept of magic.
Well, if none of you will answer me as Uthan starts putting on medical gloves, I'll get some answers myself.
Proctology time.
You're not touching any of my guards. I don't use undead. I don't have spells for undead, let alone magic of that level that I can just toss at necromancy and allow for a singular chance to kill someone in here. It'd be much easier to just create a magic circle below and cast magic jar to kill half of you. But as I've made clear, you're under my protection. If I killed you, the chaos that would ring from it would be too much for me to have to deal with and would ruin my business. Now, if any of the rest of the group would like to try, I've already been given a blessing by my own backer, if you will, to be able to tell if anybody here is lying at this moment. And as from what I can tell, the only ill intent is towards Utham. So, as Greg kind of turns towards Sunna, Himmin, and goes, unless it's one of those two who can suddenly use necromancy magic, I doubt anyone here would be involved in this scheme.
Do you not want a medical check over to see how the person died?
You're welcome to inspect the corpse as you wish, but do not insinuate, as I look to Yaki giving a death glare, that I am the one responsible for this, and keep your vassals in check.
I never said you did it. I said you let them in here because you didn't stop them. It is on the person to guard the venue. That's what I'm against you.
Greg just kind of gives Utham a glare.
Yaki's now turned off his mind reading because he realized he left it on and it was rude. And he looks at Greg. I apologize. I left that on accident.
I don't know why a vassal state like you thinks you have a right to speak at these meetings. As Greg just kind of huffs and turns and starts walking back towards the other table where Terracidus is set.
What Utham's doing is just giving them a once-over for however they died, whether it was an actual wound, some kind of magic, whatever.
Yeah, give me a heal check. Dom, Ned, or Ida, are any of you looking at this and wanting to try and do a heal check as you see the body to see what it died from, or are you just going to watch as the body's kind of taken apart or looked about?
I'll kind of look over her shoulder, yeah.
Okay.
I would like
44.
to...
44, okay.
Can I?
You say a heal?
Rather than
Yes.
inspect the body. Oh.
Go ahead, Dom.
Rather. Fuck is this word? Rather than inspect the bodies, can I sense motive or do a listen or something to see how others in the room are reacting? Like, are there any that seem, especially on Greg's side, are there any who have suspiciously and conveniently slipped from the room after this has happened? Are there any other servants that seem to be trying to hide? Like, I'm basically trying to get a read on, like, are there other traitors present? Is anyone taking sides? Like, what the room is doing?
Yeah, give me a search check. Let's call it a search check for this.
Okay.
And then
Too
yeah,
many sense motives.
Yep.
DM's got to put a cap on it for a session. Only 5.
No, it's well, you don't sense motive on a whole room. And the heal check for Ned is a 13. Ida, are you also doing a heal check or?
No, I'm focusing on turning, a piece of coal into a diamond with my sphincter.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
I'm far too busy with that right this second.
I will say the anvil is looking intently at Ida for what he did.
Yeah, I'm doing my level best to do absolutely nothing of interest of any kind at this
You
point.
failed at that.
You already did something interesting. Yeah,
I'm trying not to do anything else.
You did multiple interesting in a quick row.
Yeah.
Look, I said trying.
I got really, really bad once more. I've only gotten a 6. I think Donald is very distracted by the whole ordeal and how it potentially ties into whatever plot they have against Utham. It is just keeping the eye out to make sure nothing comes towards Utham that seems hostile, and just can't get a vibe.
Okay. Sorry, I was writing something for someone. Oh, sorry again. What was your roll, Dom?
Only a 6.
6.
I've been getting
Yeah.
awful rolls.
As you look about, you do notice Zebril, or, well, rather the Pixie leader who is marked as the representative of Zebril, seems to kind of be watching with intent, though seems to have very little interest in what Utham's doing. More seems to be looking about and kind of watching about the world leaders as they kind of sit back by themselves. As you look about, you do see two of the guards kind of talking, kind of walking over to Greg for a moment and seemingly walking off as well, almost moments later to head down one of the hallways that kind of adorn the sides of the room. As far as the movements of the room, the factions of the group kind of really start to show. Though Seiji and the Pixie don't sit together, the rest of the group seem to kind of mostly start to really conglomerate to each other and don't seem to be turning their backs to each other any longer. The tension is definitely becoming quite high, even for a 6 to be able to tell. What's up?
I thought Seiji left.
Seiji is in the room from what you can see.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Is it an illusion?
And Ned, as you're looking over, as easily Utham flips the body, looking about it, lifting the arms up, check the underneath, looking about through the toes, checking through all the obvious, clearly easy spots to hide. After a few moments go by, as he flips around, Ned, you're pretty sure that this individual died a slow and painful death, but there's no clear markings or cuts or anything that catches your attention as the body's kind of flipped over and looked over. Utham, as you kind of manage to flip it over, you catch that whoever managed to kill this individual not only used poison, but the individual had been chained down when they had been basically injected with it, and it was between their toes, clearly showing that whoever's trying to kill this individual set them up to not be found, even if the corpse was discovered. It's very premeditated.
I don't look around, but Utham willingly logs, because I think there's 3 people whose lands are known for poison at this meeting right now, at least. Although knowing he died months ago, just keeping in mind anyone that's known for poison in their lands. But other than that, I'll make clear how they died. Yeah, I'll make clear how they died to everyone. And can I get a more, because how high I rolled, can I get a more exact of how long ago it was?
Yeah, so you do figure out it. Sorry, I was typing to someone else who had sent me a question that was important. So as you're kind of looking it over, you get the exact is 3 months, roughly 2 days, and about an hour before roughly sunrise or what would have been roughly sunrise at the time, from what you gather. Looking over the body, the dirt you find amongst the nails and such, it makes it pretty clear this individual is not from these lands, as you notice some of the very thick silvery dirt underneath their toenails, making it very clear where they originally came from. As the only land that has heftily rich in silver is the land that Yaki now currently is running, we'll call. As you look about, it's almost clear that the orb was put into them. You'd guesstimate about 2 days after the individual had died. It looks like the corpse fought back, as from what you can tell, as the chain burn marks show that the chains were left on far longer than the corpse, than should have been needed, basically, for the corpse, as it seemed to, from what you can guess, probably struggle as it was animated.
So I'll make this blatant to be flat out put out there. They're from my lands, yes?
Yeah.
Because of all the silver and the. Well, I'll look towards Greg. Well, good news is he's not one of yours, so he's not your problem. Not even from here.
Tara Sidus kind of turns and looks towards you, and she just kind of nods along as Greg kind of pipes up and goes, "Oh, if it's not mine, it's not gonna be yours. It's either Yaki's, your little yipping dog over there," as Greg kind of shoots him a warning glare, or it's one of the individuals that left. However, unfortunate, I have one of the individuals back in custody.
I shake my head at Yaki. Can't be Yaki. Body's been dead for over 3 months. If he's in my land, then he's probably from the Kobold Nation, or he's one of the few that lived in my land.
Greg kind of just sighs and then looks over to Ida again and then looks at Dom under Ned and goes, "You three. One of you, who speaks for you?"
I guess. I assume Ned doesn't step up, and I assume Ader also wouldn't step up.
No, I've done
Ned doesn't
my
really
heroics.
talk.
I don't imagine
Ader-
that you would want Ned to step up.
Ader, feel free to just hide behind your... You don't really see it.
In fact, in my mind, I
Say,
pictured
Ader!
Ned going to take a breath to say something, and Dom just hand over mouth.
Yeah, I think Dom will knows Ader's shaking in his new, knows Ned is not the man of this conversation, and makes a gesture with our leader gone from here, I will.
Ah, perfect. I'm gonna assign this job to you. Consider this an active quest. I'll support, and Utham will do the same as to show that neither of us are guilty in this situation, and we want to make sure that the individual is taken care of. If what he says is correct, then go to the Kobold Lands and investigate it. If you find something, report it back to Utham. If his name's cleared and my name as well, and the person is found, we'll take them to justice, and they'll be executed for it. If, you find nothing, I think it's fair that we execute them instead, as he looks to Dom, Nander, Ned, and Eider, and then looks to the, as he says this, and looks to the rest of the world leaders. Those around Terracite seemingly to nod. Torges kind of piping up and goes, They're no one to us. If they die, if they fail, that's fully acceptable.
Can I make I know it's probably not going to succeed, but it's the iconic Dom move. Any attempt at a sense motive to see if Greg or any of the other world leaders seem to be setting us up. If this is go to this place to get evidence when all the evidence is in another place. Can I get a vibe if this is him trying to just clear, swipe shit under the rug and scapegoat us, or is this him trying to be oh yeah, you're gonna go to this place because I know there's nothing there and you'll lose type situation?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a sense motive.
Can Utham put forward the question
Alright.
of why the Kobold Lands when there's no silver in the Kobold Lands, and that makes no sense?
Sure. But
Yeah, exactly.
let's let Dom finish their sense motive roll.
I almost got a nat 20 and it rolled just off. In total, that'll be a 19.
19.
I really needed my higher rolls.
They
pretty bad.
As you look about, you notice many of the leaders seem to be kind of in agreement. It seems more that most don't seem to care one way or another about you individually. A few look to be looking to kind of change the subject to anything other than the current at hand. As you noticed, him and Sana, Torges kind of seemingly more emphasizing and focusing on the part of if you fail, you'll be killed. But as Utham kind of speaks up to that point, Greg will just kind of look to him and go, "You're the one who said that or recommended it. You said it could be from the Kobold Lands and have them investigate those lands."
I stare at Greg. I glower as I look at him. Fine. Fine. You've made your choice.
Greg kind of nods, and as many of the world leaders start kind of cheering, the servant, kind of catching the understanding, kind of walks over to you three and goes, "I think that it'd probably be best if you step outside now before things get any rowdier." As they look to Ned, Dom, and Eider.
I'm about to make this infinitely worse. Now, Sunna, let's go for a walk and have some brother bonding. We have much to talk about.
Yaki looks panicked at that because he's gonna be left in a room alone with a lot of people that don't like him.
Yeah, dumb good.
I think I was gonna say, as the Greg is speaking the parties completely, I think Dumbledore kind of keeping his composure, and seeing Utham's acceptance just goes very well. We will take on this quest and clear the names that shall be cleared. Hopefully, yours is one of them. To Greg, and then we'll go with the servant and the party to leave.
Greg just kind of ignores you with like a slight glare, and then turns back to the rest of the group, talking to them, kind of going about their conversation as you step outside. Utham kind of seems to kind of go stepping over towards Sunna, but Eider and Ned, do you follow after Domnander when they start to turn to leave?
Oh yeah, I begin sprinting out of the room.
Yep.
Had to get just a little bit of an edge in.
As
we die, allegedly.
You see as the doors kind of shut behind you, the servant kind of nodding to you as you're walking out, or as you're kind of sit down to the stairs. One of the butlers coming over with the dire wolf, fully kind of slightly a little bit rotund, as they've been feasting on what looks to be a bucket full of very red meat that they had as they were sitting around. The carriage looks to be now well organized. Everything is dusted, set aside, and cleaned, as it looks like the servants managed to go through everything.
Did they load the chests and stuff on there too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sorry, I was trying to think of how to ask that, and I had a complete total blank.
As you kind of head out, or start to kind of head out towards the castle gates with getting onto the cart, a guard kind of stops you at the gates, though it's kind of strange as the palace gates itself seem to be almost empty. There's no one around, as this very black-scaled kobold kind of, that looks to be only about 3 feet tall, pushes their visor up. They're carrying what looks to be a very large halberd, at least large for them, as the thing seems to tower over them and be way too unwieldy for their size, as it slightly wobbles in their hand side to side. And as you kind of come to the gate, they look up at you and go, "Please halt. I have an important message."
I halt, but seeing it's a kobold and knowing things are kind of iffy in us going to that area, Dumbledore will prepare himself
to sense motive.
I guess prepare an action to dodge an attack. Not sense motive. No, he's just preparing to defend himself if he gets attacked.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, I had to do it.
Listen, I'm not that obsessed with sense motive, okay?
The kobold kind of looks at you and goes, the King Greg's Martom has told me to hand a message off to you before you left. To protect you and the Regan Utham, he has sent you on this mission, as he has confirmed that 2 of the world leaders amongst his own group are trying to kill him. One of which is already been confirmed responsible for this situation. We just need the evidence to back up the claim. When you return, we need you to look into the Endrickson sons. They will lead you to what you're looking for. But for now, please leave to Regan Utham's lands, as it is the only chance you will have of surviving.
Can you spell that name out?
Which name?
The Endrickson sons?
And Endrickson's sons? King Endrickson.
Oh, Endrick.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, okay. That's why I got mixed up. Thank you.
The kobold kind of looks up and goes, "Oh, and, Eider?
Yep.
You've made a splash. That's not a good thing." As he shakes his head. Good luck. Run far.
What's wrong with splashing?
When you wallow in shit, it tends to kick back up on you.
That's a good way to put it. As the dire wolf starts pulling the cart through, as the kobold opens the gates, you hear a slight chuckle from the kobold at that as it pulls through. The dire wolf kind of seems to start almost picking up a slight jog as you lot find yourselves kind of moving through the streets a little bit quicker, though it is crowded. This time of now, what you realize is kind of late into the evening. People are starting to kind of clear out. Where are you guys heading? You going straight for your airship for what you knew, or for where you knew it was? That's a weird sentence, but yeah. For where you were told where it was. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm maddened, so I don't think we should roam the streets, given what just happened.
Okay.
Unattended for long.
Probably would have picked up metal for a crafting project, but that seems to be a ludicrously stupid idea in the present moment.
There'll be metal on the ship, I'm sure.
What? Just start taking down the bulkheads.
Just tear it apart. You'll be fine.
There will be extra metal or like resources or like the coins, but yeah, you know what? Get
Cannibals.
rebuild it better.
As you,
Yeah, we don't need all these screws.
Exactly.
Out from under Ned's feet.
Yeah, right.
And we would travel much faster if the ship was much lighter.
As you kind of find yourselves like at a top speed heading out of the city, kind of following the road, you find yourselves after about a good 2-3 hours, roughly about 3 hours of travel outside of the city, now pitch black. In the sky, the heavy rain starting to pour down, the distant sounds of rumbling thunder kind of picking up, and the cold wind breezing through. You see an airship with the wording on it that states, "The largest world shaper extraordinaire," carved into the entirety of the side of the ship. As you see this. A far more advanced airship than you've ever seen before, although it is the size of a small scooter, or scoot, I think is what they're called. Let me double check. I have a list for this. I think.
Sorry to confirm, is this ours or is this someone
Yes.
else's?
No, this is
Oh, okay.
Scoon, that's the word, yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, so as you see this this thing kind of set up, the wording on the side of it, and kind of declaring it, the maker as one of the members or the representative of the collective of Pyrrhus. The bones on the side of it look to be made of a what you assume to be some sort of just large creature, but as you get closer, if anybody has a survival check or if they have some sort of relevant skill they want to try and pitch for,
I can do survival.
Try and identify it, yeah.
Do you have?
15 survival.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have better than me probably.
Ned.
Never mind. Finally got that nat 20. 23.
Nice. Ned and Dom, as you kind of take a look, either are you going to be rolling or no? I'll take the silence as a no. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I don't have any relevant skills for this one.
All right. As you take a look at it, you kind of looking at the bones realize this is made of what looks to be very large Arctic mane bones, a creature well known for having similar breath weapon to basically white dragons and I believe silver dragons with a frost-like breath, but the dexterity of a magical beast, most often compared to a dire lion or a dire tiger. These creatures are well known for hunting in large packs. This one looks to be quite large for the bones, this being the size of what you'd assume to be a small house, basically, for the creature that belonged to.
I get excited and hold up my shiv.
God damn it. As you kind of see a couple of crewmen working about the ship, a servant comes over and explains to you that there is a portal being currently set up to send airships through to 2 territories, one of which has already been confirmed to be in the territory of Utham himself. As the servant kind of explains this, you lot kind of looking up at the ship with plans in the mind, thoughts beginning as you now have your own transportation. We're going to end the session there today. with you guys kind of climbing aboard to check it out. We thank you all for watching. We hope to see you next time. And that's pretty much it.